for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen
What's
Show.
going on now?
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom Chanka, how's it going everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by the Hen. How's everyone doing today? Thanks everyone who's already stopping by in here. I can see a bunch of people in the live chat. And how are you doing, Henry? All right, mate?
I'm good, Pig. I just wanted to ask you, mate, because I always wanted to hear the theme tune to the Pig and the Hen Show. I know it's a copy of another theme tune to a popular show that is no longer around, but I just heard it then, and I was singing along to myself. I was loving it. How have you made that possible? Thank you so much, Pig.
That's actually
Thank
not good.
you.
I didn't mean to do that, mate. Basically, it was supposed to be playing through my headphones there. It's actually played through my computer speakers. Probably had an echo. Probably sounded absolutely shite.
So what you say is you fucked up, and it's
I
better
fucked
for
up.
me, but not for the listeners.
It's better for
Is that
you.
what you're saying?
It's probably all right for the listeners, because hopefully the microphone's only picking up my voice here anyway. But, you know, there's a potential that we fucked up there, yeah.
Well, it got me in the mood for a Pig and the Hen Show. I'll tell you that, mate. Because, you know, honestly, mate, it makes me rock solid hard, mate, listening to that. It does.
Oh, crikey, I don't want to know about that, mate, to be fair. But thank you very much for sharing that bit of information, Henry Hotspur.
It's fine, mate. Game of Thrones with me and you involved, mate. Nothing better.
Always thought that I should have gone to some sort of casting call for Game of Thrones, mate. I could have played that Podrick mug. Do you know what I mean?
Mate,
How
I
hard
should
is
have
that?
been Jon Snow. I should have been fucking Jon Snow, mate.
That's
I'm
it.
literally the main male lead character. That's me, written all over. Of course it is. You know. Someone tell me it shouldn't have been me. Fuck you, mug. Of course it was me.
Definitely been on the wine tonight. This guy thinks he's Jon Snow.
I've got exactly because that's what they drink on the wall. And a bit of wine. You want to see this? This is a bit of reserve stables. Proper English word there. Pinot Noir, 2016. It's actually from New Zealand, but it's a decent bit of brew here, mate. Drinking it straight from the bottle. Do not give a fuck.
Literally, you are fulfilling all the definitions of a wino at the moment, mate. Have you got the brown paper bag surrounding it so nobody can see what it is? That's the only thing missing right now.
No, mate, I'm not one of them drinkers, mate. I'm proud, mate. If I had better lighting, mate, I'd be happy to just, picture the fucking label so you knew exactly what's going on. I mean, do you want me to read the back where it tells you about the sort of citrus flavours in the fucking meat that you're supposed to drink with it? Or eat with it when you're drinking.
So what meat are you having with it, mate?
Oh, let me the highlight of this that caught my eye on it. It's like palate served with red meats, particularly lamb, venison, or duck. Do you know what, mate? I actually ate some lamb tonight, so I'm
you're
following
safe,
the
then.
fucking instructions right there.
You're fucking fine. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
man,
glad
it's
you're
not
here,
bad
mate.
treat, actually.
Even if you're slightly worse for wear, I'm still glad that you're here, mate. Should make for an interesting show, actually.
Yeah, usually it does, mate.
Oh dear. Right, everybody who's tuning in right now, thanks ever so much for stopping by. I'm just going to shout out to a bunch of people who are the eager beavers who have tuned in here early because they deserve a special shout out. I'm talking to you, Alex Rudd. How you doing, Alex Rudd? Nice to see you in here, mate. Lalu Pato, same to you. The Music Fiend, Griffo Chaz, DJ Samwell, Derek Jason, Pokes, Clam J, all you guys, all you usual nutters, thanks very much for stopping by in the live stream. Hopefully we're coming through loud and clear right now. James Mosgrop, Kabir Shah, Marek Stachowski, Jack Swan. Oh yeah, we're doing it. We're hopefully coming through loud and clear. Let me know that we are. I did have some technical issues at the start of this video, as you can see, but it wouldn't be the Pig and the Hen show without that. Henry Hotspur's on one tonight. Look at the state of him over there.
I'm just literally trying to let the viewers visualize the bottle there. Do you know how you can tell if you've got a good bottle of wine or not? And to be honest, probably some of the cheap bottle makers are onto this these days. But something that my dad always told me, and I'm not the biggest fan of my dad,
Oh,
But there is
crikey.
something that he
There's all
told
sorts
me.
coming out on
There
this
is
show.
something that he told me, right? There's something that he told me which is still semi-true. Okay? Do you know what it is?
Go on, something about wine, I'm
Right, so
guessing.
basically, you can look at a bottle of wine, you could think, oh, it's got a fancy fucking label, it's cost this much, somebody said it's worth that much, it's got this name, it's got that name. Do you know, a simple test which gives you some indication, I'm not saying it works every single time, but it definitely works. It definitely does give you some sort of indication, is what I'm trying to say. You stick your thumb up, right? I'll give you a thumbs up right now. And you put your thumb right at the bottom of the bottle, okay? And the further up that your thumb gets, the better the wine should be. And it's very true. If you get a completely flat fucking bottom on a bottle of wine, it's probably dog's piss.
Fair play,
True,
mate.
mate. Have you never heard that?
I've never heard that, no, but that's interesting.
Have I never told you this as a friend?
No.
Wow.
You just blow my mind,
We're not
mate.
that good friends then,
You
are
just
we?
blow my mind.
It's very true. You go grab a bottle of wine. You could, best way to test this out is actually think, right, well, fuck what Henry Hotspur said. This bottle of wine cost me £15, $20, whatever money currency you're using. Okay, so it's not a cheap bottle of wine, and you will be able to stick your thumb up it a little bit. You will be able to. I mean, if you're into it, if you're a bit horny, and you got no fucking woman around, then maybe you want to actually try and stick your dick in it.
Jesus.
But I've never heard that. I've never heard that before. But maybe that's what it's for. Maybe that's what it's for.
I very much
Lube
doubt
up
that's
that
what it's
bottle
for,
at
mate.
the bottom.
What you're
Probably
saying,
not.
what you're saying is that wine bottles are somehow made to be like some sort of a 2-in-1 fleshlight bottle of wine.
Well, exactly. I mean, end of the day, something with a
Fucking hell.
crevice is better than not.
Mate. Anyway, I think we should get back on track with the show, Henry Hotspur, because fucking bottles of wine is just even a little bit too much for me at the start of this show, mate.
Have you got a bottle of wine in the
Mate,
house?
are you being
there?
followed by the paparazzi right now, mate? Somebody's taking pictures of you, buddy.
No, it's just one of them fucking dickhead electric fucking scooters.
Fair play, man, yeah. We've got a couple of comments that I want to read out. One from Gungshi, he says, "Blimey, Hen." Archie comments, "Hen should really have starred in American Pie." And
Why?
T-Cow comments, "This is a crazy start, guys." Right. It is. That's what you get sometimes from the pig in the head, especially if somebody's had about 3 bottles of wine before they fucking come on the show. Anyway, fair play to you, mate. You know, I respect that. It's Wednesday. Do you know? What would Wednesday be without a couple of bottles of wine?
Well, this is it. Well, maybe I should just shut my mouth and let the pig roll. Let's just do that. Don't talk to me. Don't listen to me. Just ignore me. That's what you need to do.
Oh, what a start to the show.
Otherwise, you're going to get this sort of reaction.
I love it, mate. Do you know what is funny, actually, just before we get onto the football and stuff? I absolutely despise wine. Like, I don't see what people really like about wine. Maybe it's an acquired taste.
You fucking kidding
I fucking
me?
hate wine, especially red wine. Like, red
Do you
wine,
like cheese?
to me, is pure vom.
Do you like cheese?
Yeah, I love cheese, mate, but I don't like cheese
You love
and
cheese,
wine.
but you're saying you'd sit there and you'd eat cheese without a glass of wine.
That's all I do, mate. You don't need one without
What
the
sort
other,
of mad
mate.
are you?
Well, you don't need one with the other, in my opinion, mate. Cheese can be
you
enjoyed at all
fucking
times
do.
of day.
Oh, so you just eat cheese on its own?
Well, yeah, I do. I have cheese on toast, but every time I
Yeah,
whip out
you
the cheese
fat
on toast,
cunt.
every time I whip out the cheese on toast, I don't get a bottle of wine on the go, mate. That probably explains why you're sweating profusely.
Well, no, I mean, cheese on toast, mate. It's fucking hot out here. So I live in a different fucking country. Okay, so let's not get on that one. Let's not get on that cheese board. Okay.
Fair play, mate. Right, should we get on with the show then?
All I'm saying, mate,
Oh.
is a glass of wine with a bit of cheese is good, mate. And if it's Christmas, you crack out the fucking port, mate.
Fair play. I just said I don't like wine at all, mate. I mean, I can sort of handle a rosé if I'm feeling a little bit fruity, but I don't really enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible. Like, I don't understand the obsession that people have with wine. Sucking it in their mouth, so you take a sip and they
All right,
go,
okay. If we're
smack
gonna
these
have,
pricks.
if we're gonna have some kind of poll or vote on this evening's or this afternoon's, depending on where you are in the world, episode of the Pig and the Hen Show, let's have a little poll on wine, yes or no. Can we do that? We could do that, can't we? And see in the comments which one comes on top. I bet you wine will get the heads up, mate.
Fair play, fair play. Right, okay, enough about wine. Let's get on with what the show's actually about, which is football. Of course, it has been an interesting few days. International break. I just go to sleep basically during the international break. Now, I did watch one of the England games. I didn't watch the one last night, even though it seemed like it was pretty much a barnstorm. A fair play to Kosovo. Shows how shite England are, though, defensively, to concede 3 goals against Kosovo. Just saying. But at least we did score
you're jumping
5.
on this bandwagon as well.
It's true, mate. I mean, did you see the defensive
just
errors
read the
as
main
well?
headlines, watch the game.
Harry Maguire gave away the penalty. I was very disappointed with him.
Who gives a
Michael
fuck?
Keane gave away the ball.
Cares?
It was just shite defending, mate. That's what we're talking about. You'd rather
Who
talk
cares?
about wine.
Who gives a fuck?
What?
I couldn't care less.
Well, I know what you're saying. I mean, but it is European qualifiers, so it does have some importance.
I know it is. We won the game. We won the game 5-3. Brilliant that we're playing attacking football. Okay, so we had a bit of a defensive nightmare. It's one game. We made the semi-finals of the fucking World Cup 2018 Russia. So we're obviously not a bad team. Okay, we had one game where we let in a few goals against a team that's not traditionally a decent team. They were obviously playing, they're playing their hearts out. That's like the biggest game that they've ever fucking played against the England national side, right? Of course they're fucking up for it. You know, yes, we switched off. We looked asleep for a couple of goals. But is that really a problem? You know, you look at Sky Sports, you look at the fucking all the fucking proper fucking sports news broadcasters out there are all jumping on that bandwagon. Oh, look at the defence. Oh, look, Gareth Southgate doesn't know what he's doing with the English defending. Bullshit, bollocks. It's just one game. Fuck that. We just dicked fucking Bulgaria 4-0. You know what I mean? This pisses me off, mate. It pisses me off that people are so bored because there's no Premier League football at the moment that people have to talk about England's shite defence. It's a load of bullshit.
Fair play, fair play. You've got some strong opinions there, Hen. I mean, I think it's justified, mate. If you concede 3 against Kosovo and the 2 players you put in there at centre-back make errors to give 2 goals away, he's talking about, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, fair enough, I know what you're saying. Like, I personally don't really give a shite about these qualifiers for England either. They're against teams we should be battering. We did batter them, so that's that. But it's still important to talk about, mate, especially from a Man United point of view when you've got Slabhead Maguire giving an error away. Mate, you've gone into a wind tunnel.
Sorry.
But no, fair enough. I mean, look, I would have actually thought you really wanted to talk about England, mate, because of Hazard Kane's performances over the couple of games. Banged in a hat-trick.
Well, I didn't say I don't want to talk about it. I didn't say I don't want to talk about it. All I was saying was, I don't like the way that everybody's looking at our performances negatively. Bottom line, we've won both games. We scored 4 in one. We scored 5 in the other. For me, it's all about the goals. Forget about the defence. You only need to look at the defence if we lost the game or if we didn't win the game. And
to be fair,
if we're winning the game, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Kosovo are actually in a really good spell at the moment. Their manager, by the way, who seems like an absolute legend and a nutter. If you want to talk about an eccentric football man, go and look. I don't know his name, but go and look up Kosovo's manager and just look at press conferences and all sorts. Like, he's an absolute lunatic, and he was on the sidelines during that game as well. So he's one to watch out for. Complete
exactly.
Kosovo
So
nutter.
he's a passionate man.
They haven't actually lost the game up until this game.
They haven't lost the game.
2017.
Kosovo are playing their hearts out. Probably the biggest national game that they've had, like for however long, or in recent history, and they put their goals away very well. Yes, Maguire was at fault. Yes, we let in a goal that made us look absolutely stupid. But it wasn't like it changed the game. I mean, we were miles ahead at half time. We were miles ahead. We were what? We were already 5-1 up, and then they scored 2 in the second half. Who gives a fuck, really? That's my opinion.
Yeah, but these mistakes can cost you in big games, mate. I know this wasn't a big game.
Yeah, but we wouldn't make those mistakes in a big game. It would be different.
Come on, how can you say that? They
switched off a little bit. Of course, Southgate needs to be there having a go. He needs to be saying, look, concentrate. It might only just be Kosovo. We might already be winning 5-1 at half time. But you need to make sure that we're not conceding them goals. And that's exactly what I'd be saying. But in terms of actually a proper talking point on the pig and the hen show, not so much.
Well, I mean,
Not so
in
much.
your opinion, but I mean, you know, you're looking at it through it with rose-coloured glasses, obviously, mate. I like to analyse the performance for what it was, which is a win against the team we should be battering and conceding 3 goals against the team we should be conceding any against. But what I would say is the legit goal that they scored, where the lad has just completely tucked up Jordan Henderson and then finessed it into the top right-hand corner, that was an absolutely majestic bit of play from them. So, to be fair, they're obviously a decent team, but yeah, they should have only scored 1 goal in that game if it wasn't for 2 catastrophic defensive England errors. But anyway, you know, if you want to talk about how England did just for a couple of moments more, I thought obviously Harry Kane in the first game against Bulgaria got himself a hat-trick. I'm sure you're loving that. Do you think he's got the potential to go on and get the all-time goal scorers record for England? Who really gives a shit, mate? That's what I don't give a shit about, mate, Harry Kane.
What makes me laugh is you making it. You know, I wasn't even planning to talk about Harry Kane tonight. I mean, him scoring 3 goals for England for me is just like a norm. You know, and you're sat there, and I can see through the glint in your eyes there, the jealousy that it's just like, you know, it's not Hazard, Kane for Manchester United, is it? No, it's Rashford. That's your striker, isn't it, or supposed striker, who was actually dropped for the second game.
The second game, but the first performance Rashford put in against Bulgaria was good, mate. So, you know, you want to watch what you say.
You're butting in. I know
what you say.
But you're butting in. I haven't finished talking yet. So, what was I saying? So Rashford was dropped for the second game for a young, you know, not even 20 years old, you know, born in the year 2000. Okay, the millennium. Remember Robbie Williams with the song? Literally born after that shit song come out. Okay? What's his name? Jadon Sancho. Doesn't even play in England. He came from Man City or something. That's all I know. He kind of originates from the sky blue side. Went to Dortmund 2017. Done fantastic for them. Now, slap bang in the England team. And guess who has had to step down for this young lad? It's none other than Marcus Rashford. What have you got to say about that, Pig?
Well, if you're basing it on form, then it's absolutely justified, mate. But I wouldn't really say that's the case. I mean, Sancho can play out on the right. Maybe Rashford can play out on the left. But if you're talking about England's best team right now, it's got to be Sancho on the right, Harry Kane up top, and Sterling on the left. 100%. So it's completely justifiable why Rashford would be dropped. Look, he's still a young lad. He's still only 21 as well, man. Look, Sancho's further along in his progression. He's shown why English players who are not getting all the game time in these clubs in England should be looking to go abroad. So he's gone over to Borussia Dortmund. He's been absolutely quality for them. He's still only 19 years of age. It's completely justifiable why he should be playing ahead of Rashford. For what I would say is Rashford did play in the first game, so it's not like he's not a part of Gareth Southgate's plans. Maybe he just thought, maybe I don't need him in this shitty game against Kosovo. Do you know what I mean? Let's give some of the other lads an opportunity, which he did do, and it obviously worked out. To me, Rashford's definitely part of the England setup, so I don't really know where you go with that if you think that maybe he's not part of Southgate's plans. He's still young. He's only going to be part of England's setup for the next decade or so. So, getting a bit ahead of yourself there, mate. He's definitely still in the mix. He just had 1 game where he's been rested, right?
No, I mean, good answer. I'm testing you, Pig. I kind of thought you might be on a bit of a 5%, 6% pig tonight, but you've actually come out 7 or 8%. You know what I mean? So fair play to you.
Fair play, mate. Well, I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear today, mate, to be fair. I'm not 100%
testing the trough, mate. Testing the trough water.
But let's just talk about, actually, Raheem Sterling, because he's a player that a few years ago, yeah, he had all the attributes that you're thinking in the future he can be a good player, but he's even surpassed what I thought he could do. And a lot of it is down to maybe Pep Guardiola's coaching and how he's done at City there. But if you look at the performance he put in, I know it's only against Kosovo, but also in the game against Bulgaria, and I know it's only Bulgaria. But he he was absolutely bossing things, man. This lad, I mean, assisting, scoring, he can do it all, basically. I was so impressed with the way that he's gone about it.
Bulgaria, they didn't even have Dimitar Berbatov. I mean, what are they thinking?
Yeah, no Petrov. I mean, to be fair, Bulgaria used to have. They used to have some really good players, Stoichkov, all these sorts of guys. Now it's like you look at their team, and yeah, sure, there's a couple of decent players in there, I'm sure, but they're bloody bang average, aren't they? They have really dropped off. If they've got no Dimitar, there's no party for Bulgaria, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Let's be honest. As international fans, I mean, I'm sure. Please disagree and let us know in the comments section. But I mean, Dimitar Berbatov must be the most famous footballer of all time from Bulgaria. Is that true? It's got to be true. Or do they have someone back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day, I believe Histro Stoichkov was Bulgarian. He scored a shit ton of goals.
Stoichkov, okay.
I think so. I think he was Bulgarian. I could be off. Maybe he's Hungarian or some shit.
Okay, well, let us know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. But I know for certain, as a Tottenham fan, that Dimitar was something special. And it makes me feel bad because I don't know so much about Bulgaria. I'm working with a Bulgarian at the moment, but I don't know so much about Bulgarians. But every time I meet a Bulgarian, do you know, I think, fuck, I don't know anything about Bulgaria. I'd love to say something about Bulgaria to make me look like, you know, I kind of know shit. And I always say, do you like football? And if they say no, I think, fuck. And if they say, yeah, I like football, I say, yeah, I'm a Tottenham fan. Yeah, Dimitar, he used to do a good job for us. You know, it's just like a conversation start. You know what I'm saying?
100%, mate. Yeah, and he obviously was one of their best players. I think you had the Petrovs as well, like Stilian Petrov, Martin Petrov, right? They were good players.
Oh, yes. Stilian and Martin used to play for City. You had Stilian, at Aston Villa, did you not? When they were actually a good team back in the day. Is that right? I think I'm right.
I think you're right, mate. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people backing us up in the comments here. Neil Duffin says, yeah, Stoichkov is indeed Bulgarian. Kabir Shah comments, Stoichkov won the Ballon d'Or in 1994. So that goes to show you the sort of player he was.
Okay.
So he's actually better than Berbatov.
Oh, okay.
I just want to read out this comment from Alex Rincon.
Good name, Stoichkov's great name.
Shout out to you, Alex Rincon. Thanks for stopping by, mate. I wanted to do some sort of a show with Rincon a couple of days ago as well, but I've just been too ridiculously busy, so sorry about that, Alex. But Rashford, he's commented and said Rashford has more goals than Ronaldo did at his age. He'll come good, still only 21 years old. I remember a few years ago, everyone thought Sterling was shit. Spot on, Alex Rincon. I did myself. I mean, it's an embarrassing video. I think I talked about it last time. But I made a vid when Sterling signed for City for 50 odd million, whatever it was. And I thought they paid too much. I thought it would never really work out because he's a headless freaking chicken, man. If you look at what he did at Liverpool, yeah, he could beat a man, but his final product was awful. Goal scoring wasn't really a huge part of his game. Now he's added all that to that. It seems like in a few short years, maybe with coaching and being part of a special team, it's really took his career on leaps and bounds to almost a point now where he's still young, he's still going to be getting better. You could consider him to be one of the best players in the world. I mean, it's only a matter of time before the likes of Ronaldo and Messi start hanging up their boots, and the people like Raheem Sterling are going to be at that top level. So, yeah.
You can't disagree with that. I mean, certainly Kane and Sterling, hands down, are the shining examples of what we've got to offer as a nation. I don't think any other players come anywhere near what those two players have actually achieved in terms of goal scoring record, etc.
Absolutely, yeah. And just to go back to Rincon's point, about Rashford, the same could happen for Rashford. Really, he's still at the development age of his career, man. So you've got to consider that at this time. He's actually not doing too badly. Look, I know recently he's been asked to step up and be the sort of one of the main man for United. It's sort of wrong that at 21 years of age he's got that responsibility. But if you're talking about his development up until this point, he's still actually doing pretty well. He's doing very well, in fact. It's just that we compare him to other players that have played for United. We hold him to very, very high standards indeed. You've got a bit of wind noise on the go there, Henry Hotspur. Are you able to move or relocate or cup your microphone or something?
I'll go downstairs, prick. All right.
Piss poor.
Listen.
There's no need for the prick, is there, prick? Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to make this show listenable, pal. I know you don't give a fuck, but that's what we're trying to do over here.
I threw an eye, so I say prick and you say prick back.
That's right,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You deserve that, mate.
Who's the big man then? Who's the big man?
Okay, I'll change it then. If you're not happy with me saying the same thing, I'll say dick instead.
It's almost more windy down here.
Ugh.
Giving me a challenge.
Bloody hell. We'll just cup your microphone then, mate, is all I'm saying. We're just trying to make this a decent show.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I was going to say, Rashford. I've forgotten what I was going to say, mate. Honestly, mate, you just keep going, mate. You fucked me off with that prick shit, mate.
Well, listen, Rashford he's still got time to develop, is what I'm saying. He's still only 21. Alex Rincon makes a great point. Like, if you compare him to Ronaldo at his age, then he's actually scored more goals. So I think that's a good indicator to see maybe what sort of a player he can be in the future. Players generally, I mean, not everyone, some players are best when they're younger, best when they're 21. People like Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney even maybe spring to mind, although, he was better later on as well. He just petered off towards the end. But most players get to their best years of their career. Yeah, you can say it in a minute then, can't you? Most players get to the best years of their career when they're later, when they're 26, 27, that sort of age. So he's still got a lot of time to develop into a quality player. Right, go for it, Hotspur.
Right, listen. Okay, so Rashford is basically at Manchester United. You're not a top 4 side, let's be honest. And do you know what? The pressure's all on him. If you don't make top 4, even though he scored a handful of goals, and I'm sure he will, everybody will be like, Rashford's not good enough. Do you know what? If Rashford was at a team like Everton, Rashford was at a team like Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rashford was at a team like fucking, I don't know, Leicester. Okay, it would be a different story, and that's actually, in terms of a player. Let's forget about club allegiances and loyalties for a second. That's what makes me feel sorry for Rashford, actually, because it's just so much pressure for a young player that's actually fucking good, and it comes down to that Manchester United name. Simple as that.
Well, I can't deny that, mate. I do think that we're asking a bit too much of him too soon. I think you make a valid point. If he was at one of those other clubs, they'd probably be more grateful for what they had and more understanding of the need to allow time to develop into a top player, etc. But we do have high standards at this club. Wind issues, mate. You're in a monsoon, mate. What the fuck? Crikey, sorry about this, guys and gals. I know I'm trying to get it into Henry Hotspur the necessity to have a decent audio, but some people just have a couple of bottles of wine and forget. You know what I'm saying? Right, I'll take this opportunity just until Henry finds some shelter to read out this super chat from Gungshi. Gungshi,
it's not even that windy, mate.
Who comments? Hen is on a different level tonight.
And you complain.
Gungshi comments, Hen is on a different level tonight.
In terms of what? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What, a different level, as in we're playing a game and I'm on that kind of veteran setting on Call of Duty where one shot, you're dead. But I'm still ploughing through. Thank you, Gunshi. That's right. That's what I'm about.
Exactly. That's exactly what he meant, mate, to be fair. So fair play. Thank you very much.
Of course it was.
Thank you very much, Gungshi, for getting your thoughts in there. Oh, no. Windy as, mate. Absolutely windy.
It's more windy here than it was.
Well, why move then? Why can't you just cup the microphone like this, yeah? So it doesn't fucking get hit by the wind.
How about this, mate? How about this? I found a staircase, but the thing is,
this is brilliant.
I've still got internet signal here, and you got lighting.
This is brilliant. Why don't you just be here all the time, mate? This is so much better.
Because it's hot here, mate.
Fair play. We can actually see Henry Hotspur. Look at that beautiful face, everyone. There he is.
Oh, fuck off. No, I don't like it. I don't want people to see me.
Why not, mate?
I don't know, because, do you know what I mean? I'll wear a mask next time.
Fair play, right. Anyway, thank you very much for doing that, Henry. It is important that people can hear us properly and all that sort of thing. So I appreciate you moving, and the signal seems absolutely fine. We can even see a bottle of wine properly here. Stables Reserve. Oh, what percentage is that wine?
13.5.
Oh,
it's a Pinot Noir from New Zealand, like I already said. And we talk about the wine again. I thought you didn't want to talk about that anymore.
I don't. Right, let's get on to the next point of interest then. And if you're done with talking about shitty England. Are you done with talking about England?
Am I done with I didn't want to talk about England in the first place. It's boring shit, mate. We're just sweeping away these teams that just are not a challenge for England. Simple as that. bring on the Premier League.
Fair play, yeah, I know. I can't wait for. That's the thing with the international break, is it's so bloody mind-numbing. It's just when the season
I
starts
know
going.
who even listens to the Pig and the Hen show when there isn't actually any proper games to talk about.
It's very true.
You know what I
We're
mean?
scraping the barrel for United and Spurs topics right now. We are. But we talked a bit about Rashford. We talked a bit about Kane. I mean, there's a couple of sort of interesting rumours and stuff that are going around, which generally I don't like to get too deep into. But I feel like we should talk about them because there's not too much going on. Go on then, Hen.
Well, I heard that Jadon Sancho was considered by Manchester United in the summer.
Yeah, apparently his agent met with United in the summer. It was always being speculated about, and it makes perfect sense, to be fair. You're talking about someone who didn't get the opportunity for City, went to Germany, proven what a great player he is, still only 19. He's homegrown, he's English, he's got the potential to be one of the best players in the world in the future. He's absolutely somebody United should be looking at signing. So to me, Jadon Sancho is a perfect fit for United right now. He's somebody that is probably hungry, somebody that can step up, young, bags of potential, the type of player United should be signing right now. So I can completely understand it. The only thing that pisses me off about that story, if it's true, is the fact that we met with them, or that Jadon Sancho's agent met with Manchester United, and that we didn't pursue it. We didn't get the deal done. We didn't put the bid in. Why? Because that freaking potato head Woodward and those useless bloody Glazers. That's what pisses me off, because by all rights, really, we should have had Jadon Sancho coming to United for the start of this season. Any idiot would have done that if they could have done that. Just like we should have signed Bruno Fernandes, because we were a few miles away from the likes of City and Liverpool. If we're going to change that, then the only way to do that would be, of course, to strengthen in all areas, and Sancho would have definitely done that. So yeah, I think we've had a mare not getting Sancho in early, but I just hope that he's a player that does come to United in the near future. If it's not January, then the summer transfer window next year, absolutely. This is hilarious.
It's funny though. It's funny though, because it's just a player that has literally scored a couple of goals. Me or you have never spoken about him before. Didn't really know who he was. Obviously, the Gareth Southgate and the England setup kind of spotted this guy.
You got to know who he is before now, though. I mean, he's done great.
Anybody that follows the Bundesliga out there must know this guy.
Or if you play FIFA.
He looks like a good player. I've seen him now. Or if you play FIFA, you see this guy. He looks like a good player. It's just funny. It's funny how fickle football is, though. Because what you got to remember is he's had a couple of good performances, and suddenly his stock is just gone through the roof. Don't. It's not just the Pig and the Hen show. It's just basically you look at any mainstream media now talking about the England games. They're not talking about Kane's hat trick against Bulgaria. Not really. They're not talking about the defensive frailties against Kosovo. Slightly. What they're talking about is this Jadon Sancho and the fact that he scored that goal for his nan, and that he had a little private meeting with you know who I'm talking about, Manchester City. Who are we just talking about? Who's the best player for Manchester City right now? Raheem Sterling. Sorry, I had a mind block. Too much wine. He had a little private meeting with Raheem Sterling the night before, and he begged Sterling to set him up a goal, which actually happened. And that's what I've been reading in the news today. And I almost wanted to go to the toilet bowl and put fingers down my throat and make myself sick at that kind of reporting. Right, but there we go. That's the kind of shit that we have to read and listen to these days, yeah?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I mean, he should be linked to United because United need players like that. I mean, I want to read this comment out here from Alex Rincon, who says we'll probably sign Sancho and either Maddison or Bruno Fernandes. Talk about James Maddison as well, because he's done so fantastically well in the Premier League for the last year. He's definitely another player, homegrown, another player that Manchester United should be looking to get. Look, we're not going for the best players in the world right now. That's just not what we can do. United are not in that market. We don't have the Champions League football. We're in a transitional rebuilding period with an unknown entity of a manager, really. So it's not the most exciting proposition for potential players to be coming to right now. So we've got to go for that secondary tier, that one that those players that have the potential in the future. I think James Maddison's one of those. Look, he doesn't get me that excited, but at the same time, just look at the amount of assists, look at the amount of creation and key chances that he's created in the last 12 months. He's very, very good indeed. Something that United are seriously lacking is creation. So he's another player. I totally agree. I mean, if United could have got those players in this summer, say James Maddison and Sancho, we would be looking much better in terms of squad depth right now. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, as far as a couple of players that I'd like to see come into the club either in January or at the end of the season, Maddison and Sancho definitely fit the bill. And I think United do need to try and get that sort of British homegrown spirit back that we've had during the Premier League era. You know, United's teams, we're not like Arsenal. Arsenal over the years, I remember they were the first team to field a team full of all foreigners, so 11 players from outside the British Isles in the Premier League. Now it's commonplace, really. But they were the first team to do it. United, on the other hand, we always had this really English core, of great players, or if it wasn't English, it was British players like, Darren Fletcher, or, even Irish. I know that's not part of Britain there, but I like Roy Keane and people like that. So, yes, we do have the requirement for that. I think those players would definitely fit. Good comment, Alex Rincon. That's all I'd say. I mean, the chances of these happening, who knows? Who knows if the board are going to be able to do it? Who knows if Ed Woodward's got the freaking capabilities to get that player in there? My probable thinking would be no.
You mentioned Roy Keane. I mean, I'm pretty sure you told me the other day that you wanted to talk about Roy Keane.
Yeah, we'll get on to Roy Keane in a bit, actually. This is a decent segue opportunity to talk about, like, the need for a director of football at Manchester United, and there's been a lot of speculation about maybe Edwin van der Sar, the current chief exec over at Ajax, maybe being a potential suitor for the role.
We'll talk about that first.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's up to the pig, and I don't have to be, but, try to introduce a new topic and got absolutely bit slack, didn't I?
No, we'll talk about that later, but it was just a natural segue into talking about Edwin there, mate, because we were just talking about...
So I say, let's talk about this, and it's like, well, we'll talk about that in a bit, but we're going to talk about this. Fuck you, hen.
Mate, it's called The Pig and the Hen Show for a reason. It's called The Pig and the Hen Show for a reason. It's not called The Hen and the Pig.
Yeah,
all right, mate?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's just talk about Edwin van der Sar. I know it's not something you've got a lot of interest in, so fair enough. I understand your lack of real... passion about this topic, but it's a topic I'm very passionate about because United don't have a director of football. We've got a chief executive in Ed Woodward, who's an ex-frickin' banker, who is overseeing all football affairs at Manchester United. It doesn't seem right to me, but that's what's going on. Now, he's doing a good job for the Glazers in the terms of he's just a Glazers yes man. He's also capable of brokering all these financial deals, these commercial deals, these car deals, noodle deals, because he is a financial man. He has showed some astuteness at managing the financial deals at Manchester United very well. That is what he should be doing in the future, a financial advisor or in a financial role at the club, maybe a commercial deal man, whatever you want to say. But he should not be overseeing transfers, he should not be deciding players ins, players outs, managers appointments, things like that. He's not a football man. That's just my personal opinion. And I think that somebody like Edwin van der Sar, who, just forget the United stuff, is just better equipped for the job. He's got the contacts in football. He's got the respect in football. He's got the ability to understand what a football club needs. If you look at what he's done at Ajax, he's partly responsible for their resurgence in recent years. A few years ago, Ajax were nowhere. They'd had a drop-off. Football goes in cycles, but, Ajax has really come back to the fore in the last couple of seasons, and it's a lot down to, I think, Edwin van der Sar in terms of just potential players coming into the club, recruitment, scouting, transfer deals, ins and outs, getting the best for the club. He's done a very, very good job for Ajax. So to me, he would be an ideal candidate to come in and be Manchester United's director of football. Forget that he's an ex-club legend, saved a freaking penalty in the Champions League final, and all that stuff. He's just better equipped to the job than Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward should not be doing that. I mean, what do you think about that, Henry? Do you think I'm off base there? Just from an outsider point of view, does Woodward seem to be doing a good job? Because to me, he just doesn't.
Well, the way I see it, I mean, if Van der Sar was that good for Ajax, then why didn't he just step up and get between the goalposts when he played Tottenham Hotspur and we knocked him out of the Champions League? You know what I'm saying?
Well, he'd probably still be good enough to do that, to be fair.
He probably would be, but why isn't he? You know what I mean?
Because he's retired, mate.
He should have.
He's retired.
No, he's. Honestly, he still could do a good job. Honestly,
I bet he would as well. Yeah, goalkeeper's the one position, I suppose, where you can just keep playing to a good standard for a bit longer. You often see 40-year-old goalkeepers still bossing it, people like Buffon. So yeah, I totally agree. But
well, how old is Van der Sar now?
He's probably like 46, 47, something like that. I'd say so. I'm not even sure. But anyway, we're not talking about signing Edwin van der Sar as a replacement for David De Gea. We're talking about signing him as a replacement for Woodward.
Football-minded in terms of as a director of football, would he be able to have a part at Manchester United? Well, do you know what? I really don't know is the answer. I'm not just going to sit here and spout a lot of bullshit. I don't know how he's getting on at Ajax. Very interesting to listen to you right there.
Well,
I like
you know
him
yourself,
Ajax
have
all
done
right.
well recently.
He's always a proper professional. If he has had, an influence on Ajax recent successes, which they have been recent successes, then fair play to the man. But is he the right fit for Manchester United right now? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, what you need to do is you need to look at the heyday. You need to look at when Fergie was there and you were having the best of times. Who did he have around him?
David Gill.
You had Mike Phelan.
David Gill was the chief exec.
There now.
So David Gill was the chief exec. Did a great job, to be fair. Before.
So what's happened to him?
Well, he retired. He left at the same time Sir Alex Ferguson left. So it was like a changing of the guard at that time. And since then, Woodward's come in and done a piss poor job. I mean, if we could go back and get David Gill, it'd be absolutely unreal. But we can't. And unfortunately, we've got Ed Woodward. I mean, I wanted to talk about it just because I think that it's clear that Ed Woodward was not doing a great job at United in terms of recruitment, in terms of getting players gone.
Then?
Well,
what's he done wrong then? Highlight the for a neutral. Don't bore me the Manchester United bullshit, but just tell me the main things that he's done wrong. The top three things that he's fucked up.
Okay, so he's completely ruined the wage structure at the club, right? By allowing the signing of players like Alexis Sanchez on for $450,000 a week and stuff like that. Like, it belittles the rest of the team. It's probably a large reason why players like Ander Herrera wanted more money and left when he wasn't going to get that extra money. So that sort of undermined the squad wage.
I agree with that.
That is bad financial management.
Great first reason.
Yeah, bad financial management, and that has implications on the squad. It has implications on future signings. People know if Alexis Sanchez is on that sort of money, well, maybe we can squeeze a bit more out of Manchester United. It's a really bad move. You should have a ceiling and you should stick to it. And he didn't do that on this instance, and it has had a knock-on effect. I also think that it's just some of the commercial deals that we've made. It's not really looking for the best interests of the club, Manchester United. Floating it on the stock exchange or getting all these deals in with just random freaking companies, noodle companies and this sort of stuff. I mean, it's not really necessary. It doesn't match the ethos of Manchester United, which is a traditional family club. It's like if they changed the stadium name. Go on.
Just to quickly stop you, I know you're going to get onto your third one, and I'll give you a bit of time to think about it.
I've got more than three, to be fair.
Didn't already have it ready.
I've got more than three, but yeah.
I actually, as you know, I am based in China right now. I've got a friend out here that's not currently here. He's actually in the UK. He's going to be at a press conference. I've already told the pig about this. He's going to be at a major press conference, I believe, on the 16th of this month, which is literally, a couple of days' time now. And he's representing Yabo Sports, which I believe is a Chinese sport company. I don't know exactly what they do as a company. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I have an insider. I have a friend that's going to be at that press conference. He's going to be meeting players. He's going to be speaking to people. He's already said that he's going to try to generate a little bit of material for the Pig and the Hen show. So hopefully we'll keep you guys updated. But if we can get something
Are
for
we
next
breaking
week,
this on the show, mate? Are we? What's going on here? What's this press conference about then, mate?
All I know is what I've told you. I've already told you, Pig. Don't put me on the spot here. But there's a press conference. I mean, he's already stood on the stage with Steven Gerrard. Right, I know that's not United related, but this is because everybody's fucking signing up with this Yabo Sports.
Right.
Well, it's not just Manchester United, but this is obviously a major Chinese sports company. And as I said, I don't know the ins and outs of what Yabo Sports do, but he stood on the stage of Gerrard. Do you know what I said to him? I messaged him. I said, "Do you know what I would have said to Gerrard if I stood next to him while shaking his hand, smiling at the cameras?" I would have said, "Careful you don't slip, mate."
Yeah, same.
That's what I would have said.
Same here, mate.
That's what I would have said, and he didn't. Do you know what I mean?
No, that is a missed opportunity, mate. Do you know how funny we've got similar minds, mate? Because I've always thought if I ever see Steven Gerrard, I'm going to go, watch out for that banana skin over there. Don't slip. And try and film it. And film that
I'm
shit.
getting at.
But
Exactly. So shout out to my friend. He's in the UK right now. He's doing the business, doing his job, but he's loving it. What a great job, And we'll keep you informed. Me and the pig will keep you informed.
That's it. Whenever there's breaking news.
If we could get some pictures over. I mean, I've got the picture of him with Steven Gerrard, so I'll send that to you. We can,
mate,
nobody really
wants
gives
to see
a fuck
that
about that.
Nobody wants to see that.
If you want to see United bullshit,
tell him to get some videos, mate. Tell him to
get
get some little video clips. That is actually what we could use. Like, that would be good. If you could get some video clips of some, or even just record the press conference and I can put it on my channel, mate. 100%. Tell him to do that. We'll send him a little bit of cash.
Okay, well, I'll hook you up with him.
Well, you just ask him.
That's the best bet, isn't it?
But just ask him to film it, mate. Film as much stuff as you can. He's your mate. But
I only met him a few times. He seems all right.
Nice,
I mean, I hope he's my mate.
But anyway, to go back onto the points about Ed Woodward.
Sorry, third point.
So, yeah, commercial deals and just having more of a vested interest in that compared to maybe some of the other footballing issues, like actually improving the side.
Why is Woodward shit?
Right, next one. He's basically just a complete freaking yes man for the Glazers, isn't he? That's what he is. Like, his bottom line, his interest is just to please and appease the Glazers, to bring in money into the club. He's not looking at paying off the debt that Manchester United have. He's just looking at using Manchester United's brand to generate money for the Glazers, basically, to make that money for them. That is what seems to be going on, because if you look at the debt that they bought the club with and how much debt United are still in right now, there's not much difference, mate. It's not like we've paid a lot of that debt back. We're still hundreds of millions, 600 million in debt or something ridiculous like that. So that's one major thing. There's been a lot of time that he's been at the club. These financial deals, we've seen a vast amount of them. Chevrolet, and you're talking about these Jabo Sports, and it doesn't surprise me. All these other deals that we have broken, and we're still in the same amount of shit debt-wise. That's completely wrong. The recruit, I know you only asked for 3, but I'm just going to go on to the 4th, mate. The recruitment has been shite. I know we've mentioned it a bit about Alexis Sanchez, but if you talk about players ins, players outs, we're constantly getting bent over the barrel. We're currently paying Alexis Sanchez to go and play for Inter Milan, and we're paying him to do that. That just shows you how shit the recruitment has been at United. Lukaku, our big money signing a couple of years ago, sold him off already. Didn't work out. It's just, and not only that, the lack of recruitment. If we had somebody there who was actually a director of football who had United's best interests at heart, you would have seen a few more players coming in this last summer transfer window, because we were 32 points behind fucking City. That's why we would have spent a lot more and strengthened the squad a lot more. But did he do that? Did he fight our cause to the Glazers? Did he get the players through the door? No. Just did the bare minimum. That's what that twat Woodward does. He just does the bare minimum on the football pitch for United to keep us ticking over. Don't really give a shit anymore if we get into Champions League. Let's just shrink back. Let's just get rid of some of the high players. Let's cull our expenditure and let's keep this United club profitable for the Glazers. That's what it seems to be for me. So that's the main problems I have with Ed Woodward. I'd like to see him gone. I'd like to see somebody else come in who's right for the job. Forget that they're an ex-Red. Just somebody who's right for the job, who knows all the
thing is, can you blame him? Surely it's the fault of the Glazers. It's like, basically, the Glazers have got this guy in and they said, this is what we want you to do. And he's probably getting 10 out of 10. He's getting a fucking A star. He's passing with merit or distinction every step of the way, because that's what they want him to do. So, I mean, can you blame him? End of the day, he's just a working man. He's probably got kids. He's got a family. That's his job. That's what the Glazers want him to do. That's what he's doing. So is it not the fault of the Glazers?
Primarily.
We just look at Woodward
I agree,
and think,
mate.
prick.
I agree. Primarily, it is the fault of the Glazers, absolutely. He's just a yes man for the Glazers, but he is the man in charge.
He's doing a spot-on job.
He's the chief exec.
He's doing a spot-on job in terms of what the Glazers want.
Yes, he is, but he's not doing a spot-on job for what United want, or the fans. Like, check this comment out from Rincon here.
Of course not.
He comments and says...
But United's not paying him. The Glazers are paying him.
Absolutely, but we've got a comment here from Rincon I just want to read out. It's very true. It says, there's so many more than 3 reasons. We still have 800 million in debt, not spent enough the last 2 windows, cares more about sponsorship. Old Trafford needs renovating. There was a video the other day of the bloody roof at Old Trafford leaking through, mate. So there's...
Wow.
There's definitely some problems.
Used to be one of the top 3... if not the best stadium in the whole world at some
Well,
point.
it's not so cutting edge
Far
anymore.
from it now.
Put it that way.
Far from it now.
Yes,
Honestly.
I mean, Rincon, he also says Woodward and the Glazers just care about top four to fulfill sponsorships and keep profits rolling in. They don't give a fuck about making the squad that can compete with City and Liverpool. Yeah, good comments there. I really do agree entirely with you there, Rincon. Another thing, it's just like, yes, the problem I have with a director of football coming in as well, it's like, is he really going to get that? Is he really going to get that final say? The probability is not. It's just the sort of thing, to me, it seems like the Glazers who are keeping United in debt and just servicing this debt and making United... crikey, mate, it's a freaking monsoon on the go out there. What's going on?
What? Can you hear it?
Pissing down, eh?
I've got in-ear headphones. I'm trying to just ignore it. Concentrating on the show.
No,
What's going on?
It just sounds like it's absolutely pissing down. Good call going inside, I reckon, mate.
It's just windy. I mean, the storm is coming. It's not hit yet. You can see occasional flash in the sky. I'm dedicated to the pig in the head, mate.
I am loving it. But yeah, so another thing, it's like Woodward. Is he going to still have the final say? Let's say the Glazers just appoint a director of football just to appease the fans, if you like, to give the fans what they think that we want. The fact is, they're still going to run the club how they see fit. They're still going to have that Woodward yes man there. So does it just become, the director of football's just there for window show, for window dressing, basically? He's not really a director of football, because that's the problem I'd have. And if I'm being brutally honest, I think if they did appoint a director of football, that's what it would be. It would just be window dressing to show the fans, yeah, we are actually trying to do something here. We are trying to compete with the other teams around Europe, the top teams who do have directors of football. Some of them have multiple ones, so we better have one. But really, it's going to be that freaking potato head twat Woodward still making all the key decisions, and he's just going to do what we tell him, basically. He's going to generate the financial deals.
I understand what you're saying, and yeah, everything you said's right, but there's no point pointing at the message man. Woodward is just a message man for the Glazers.
He's still got a key role at the club, like his ins and outs, transfers.
But he is listening to what they want him to do, and they keep him there because they're more than happy with what he's doing. If you said, Rincon has said more than 4 or 5 points of why Woodward is not good for Manchester United, and yet he keeps a job. Why? Because the Glazers are more than happy with him. They are over the moon with the job that he's doing there. And you're talking about Van der Sar coming in, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. And it might appease the fans a little bit. That sounds interesting, Van der Sar coming in, etc. But the key problem of this is the Glazers. And it's like, I don't even really know the ins and outs of it. I don't give a fuck about Manchester United. But from my understanding and listening to you go on and on and on over the years about it, and having done a little bit of research, because I know that the majority of the people listening to the Pick of the Hen show are Manchester United fans. That's another poll. We need to have another poll. I'm very interested to see what percentage of people listening to the Pick of the Hen show are Manchester United fans. It would be interesting to know. But anyway, what was I saying?
I don't really know, mate, but I'll take this opportunity to read out this super chat from Gungshi. Thank you again for sending a super chat, Gungshi. He comments, love the hen's dedication, braving the elements for the Pig and the Hen show. Yeah, fair play to him. We've got to say, it's like monsoon season out there, is it? And you're still here, mate, still dedicated, still in the stairwell of some apartment building, drinking your bottle of wine while members of the public just walk past you and stuff like that. I say that's pure dedication, mate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's only once a week, isn't it? It's not that hard.
Thank you very much for that, Gungshi. Just take a moment to read a couple of other comments out here while I'm here. Ian T comments, thank you for your comment, Ian. Pig is correct. The director of football role at United would be a puppet to Woodward, the Glazers, and would have no control over transfer budgets, etc. I think that's probably the likeliest scenario. So, although in principle it sounds good.
If you don't get rid of the Glazers, if you don't get rid of the Glazers, then nothing will change at Manchester United. That's my point.
Yeah, that is the key.
Woodward,
that's the key.
That name Woodward means nothing. Okay, it means nothing. It's all about the people that are actually pulling the strings at Manchester United, who are the Glazers, And whilst they're there, nothing will change.
It's
And
quite
that's
it's
the
quite an
be all and
appropriate
end all of
names,
it. We
actually.
don't need to say anything else about
Yeah,
it.
the names are quite
We glaze
appropriate. You've
over
got
it all,
you've got
mate.
the
What do we
Glazers.
do?
You've got the Glazers in their glass tower, and they're dangling Woodward, the wooden puppet, over the side to do their evil bidding. That's basically what's going on at United, unfortunately. And I agree with you, Henry. Like, we can do as much as we want. We can get director of football. We can do this. But while the Glazers are here, this football club won't really progress because they're only putting money that we're generating back into the club, if that. They're not putting their own money into the club. They're not investing in the club on the pitch, truthfully, if we're being honest, 100% what they should be. They're just doing the bare minimum, really, to service it.
Actually.
Mate, it's absolutely pissing down over there. It sounds like a literal monsoon. So,
Well, I've got a real glass roof here, and I can see the splashes.
shit, man.
I can see
Hopefully it
the
doesn't
rain
cave in on you,
pattering it.
mate. That's what I'm saying.
I'll be fine, mate. I'll be fine. It's good that I'm sat here right now.
But yes.
Anyway, are we on the hour and a half, Matt? The hour and a half conspiracy?
No, we're
hour,
not. We're
whatever
not yet,
the
mate.
fuck
We're
it is.
nowhere near there, mate. We're nowhere near there.
Oh, for
when we
fuck's
get
sake,
there,
really?
we'll unleash you then, all right? And I am fully aware.
Slogging away to get to that.
Yeah,
you know what I
and I'm
mean?
fully aware. I mean, you might want to talk about Tower 7 and shit like that, mate, because it is actually September 11th today. Just want to say, you know, I know it's a long time ago, but the images from that day, the impact that it had, it still obviously lives on in our memories. Anybody that was alive at the time that witnessed it, I remember. It's like one of those things, you know exactly where you were when that happened. And
everybody remembers where they were.
Yeah,
when
and it's a very sad occasion. The people that did that, obviously complete scum. Just want to look, I know me saying anything's not really going to mean anything, but just want to pay my respects to the people, the thousands of people that lost their lives on this day. Was it 18 years ago now? So it's amazing that 18 years has gone by in that time. And we're the people that witnessed it. We're lucky enough to still be here 18 years later to talk about it. So just respect and pay my respects to all those people.
Well,
that
the
were
interesting thing about it, it's not interesting because it was a tragedy. But in terms of our young lives, it is the most defining date. If you look at a date and time of something that happened in the world, whatever it was, in my lifetime, and I believe in your lifetime, I'd say it has to be, you know, the biggest event in terms of the world is watching of our lifetime is that day.
I think that's
I can't
fair,
think
yeah.
of anything else.
I think that's fair. Nothing's etched into my memory more than that. I mean, there was some things during my childhood, like I remember when Princess Diana died in that car crash, but the magnitude is not.
I was just thinking that
the
one as well,
magnitude
yeah.
is not to the same level as that. The impact, because just the vision of seeing those, you know, those glorious twin towers and then planes flying into them, and that second one, it was just sickening, man. That was. Everybody remembers that. I just want to shout out to Alex Rudd here who comments, I'm from NYC and I definitely know where I was and what I was feeling and what happened afterwards. Yeah, I mean, God, I didn't even think about that, Alex. You're actually in the Big Apple, obviously, so you witnessed that firsthand, if you like, or certainly...
Well, I mean, we were kids, weren't we? We were kids. I think I was, 14? We were 14, I think, at the time. And, you know, previously, you know, I was at a young age where I was into buildings. You know, I was reading books about tallest buildings. And I knew a bit about the Twin Towers at the time. I don't now because I drink too much. But at the time, as a young, intelligent lad, reading about this stuff, I respected, you know, these buildings, thinking, wow, amazing. This is man-made shit. This is cool stuff. So to see that as a young person at the age of 14 years old, just got back from school, literally just got back from school, turn on the TV and see that happening. And it was like, what? It was my first what the fuck of my life. Like real, I sat there and I gave myself a real WTF because I mean, that's how I felt, mate.
Man, I remember watching it when I got home from school. It happened I was at school in the afternoon. I remember the teacher came in and told everyone, I think maybe even brought a TV in so we could watch it on the news, right? And then when we got home, the second tower had gone in by then, I believe. And yeah, we were all sat around as a family watching it. And I actually remember my dad, who, you know, never really shed a tear, actually crying at, like, even though it was, you know, not related to it. It was that much of a sickening attack, wasn't it? So I'm just, I mean, it had a huge impact on all of our lives. So just wanted to
at
talk
our age,
about it.
I just we couldn't comprehend it properly. It's like, At the time, I literally didn't know who was behind it, what was going on. All I knew was what I was seeing on the TV, and it was just shocking.
Oh, and some of the
And
images, like when you
more
see people
scary,
falling down,
more
they're
scary
literally
than
jumping
any
out.
movie you're
They're
watching.
jumping out the building
Oh
so
yeah,
they
I saw
to
some
save
of that. I
themselves
know.
from burning
It's
to death. I
disgusting.
mean, some of those
Yeah.
images literally are scarred in my memory, mate. And to anybody that knew these people that were in there, and there were I think 2,600 odd people that lost their lives that day. You know, if you're talking about changing our lives, in comparison, it did nothing. To them, you know, you've just got to say sorry for their losses, because what an awful thing to happen. It really was.
Well, the death toll. Sorry, is still relevant today.
Mm.
Because anybody that was involved in the wreckage, etc., you think of all that, crushed construction work in terms of the dust, everything. It's still affecting people now. That doesn't get reported on, but I know for a fact that is still a problem for anyone that was involved. It's travesty. It was horrible. I mean, you look at the nuclear bombs that were dropped on Japan. Okay, I know that's a different kettle of fish, but what I'm saying is anything
That's
terrible
worse.
that happens,
That is actually worse, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Anything terrible that happens will still have repercussions for years to come. That's what needs to be remembered.
Yeah, I mean, I know it ended the Second World War effectively, but you have to say that dropping those A bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that is literally the most. I know, like, Americans are lot watching this, they don't want to hear this, but that's probably, from an outsider point of view, the most despicable act in warfare that has actually happened. Do you know what I mean? Because they've literally just nondescriptly wiped out whole towns of civilians with a bomb that they dropped out of the sky. So,
of course, but people would argue it had to be done. It's one of those. Okay, it's one of those. I don't want to get involved in the rights and wrongs of decisions made in world wars. What I was trying to say was
it was in retaliation to Pearl Harbor, wasn't it? Right? Am I right in saying that?
Of course,
so it's not like it wasn't.
Yes.
But at the same time, they attacked
down the line. But Pearl Harbor was the beginning, and then Hiroshima was the end.
Yes, but Pearl Harbor was a military base, mate. So it is kind of different, like, than just going to drop a bomb on women, children, and a civilian town. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is different.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
If you want to open up the conversation to that, we can.
Well, maybe we should get onto the conspiracy shower right now.
Today is the September the 11th. All I'm saying is these travesties, these tragedies that we all know about are still affecting people today, and that's a tragedy in itself. You know, it's not just like that happened and let's forget about it. People are still affected by this now. People are still dying because they're still being fucking exposed to whatever they were exposed to whilst they're rescuing people from the rubble. You know.
Very well said, mate. Yeah, I mean, just this one hits home here. This comment from Viking Red, who says, I had a mate whose uncle from Pakistan died in those buildings that day. So because there were so many people that died, you know, there's a lot of people that do know people. I mean, and just you know, I saw something the other day. I know this is just one person, but you know Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, yeah? So yes. He had a flight on, I think it was, you know, like, what was that? What was the flight that they stormed it and it went down? I can't remember. Anyway, one of the flights that went into the tower, it was actually, not that one. United 93, it's not that one, no, it was one of the other ones. He had a flight booked on, he was slightly late for check-in and they didn't allow him on the flight. And then an hour later, he's seen that it's flown into the bloody World Trade Center. So that goes to show you the sort of implication. One day you're living your life, the next moment you're gone in a terrifying incident that's completely out of your control. He was obviously very lucky that he was late that day. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's an interesting, not a lot of people know that, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there you go. I know he's only one man. We're talking about 2,600 people that lost their lives here. But yes, comment here from the Music Fiend, who comments, the whole area after 9/11 had a different feel for almost 12 years until One World Trade Center got built. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just it's a soul destroyer, that one, man. Especially, I can't imagine if it happened in my town or my city. So for any New Yorkers out there who actually felt the brunt of it and felt the direct impact of it, you know, respect to you guys. And I thought the job that the emergency services did, and it was absolutely outstanding. Another celebrity bit of information that you may or may not know. Steve Buscemi, the famous actor, of course, absolute legend, he was an ex-firefighter in his younger days, and he was in New York City at that time. And do you know what Stevie Buscemi did as soon as that happened? He's right in there, in the rubble, helping everyone like he was a firefighter. So you got to respect that, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sure.
Absolutely. Anyway, should we move on to the next topic? But just wanted to say something there about.
So, I mean, what I liked
day.
about that comment, and what the last comment that you read out, was the fact that there was that feeling, and of course there's still that feeling now. But I think that there was a change in tone, a change in feeling when that new tower went up, and fair play. They put a new building up, and it needed to be done.
Absolutely, and I think it's probably the most fitting thing to do, because am I right in saying One World Trade Center is the memorial of the two lights representing the World Trade Center? Is that correct, or am I making that up? But what if it's a lovely tribute? It's a lovely tribute anyway. That's what I'm saying.
All I'm saying is it was the right thing to do, is to build something there. It's not trying to recreate the Twin Towers, but it is what it is. And that comment said it all.
Just want to read out a couple of super chats that have come in from Alex Rudd here. Thank you very much for getting in and showing your support for the channel, and also having your say as usual, even though you're moderating it, Alex. So thank you very much. I think I missed them, so I just want to read them out. He comments, not watching. Sorry, what was it saying? Not talking, but listening at work. Thank you very much for getting in here, Alex, while you're working. And he also comments, nothing to say. Here's some money for Henry's microphone. And he comments, I remember the sadness and the anxiety after. Yeah, I can only imagine being a New Yorker just how shocking that actually was. I mean, it was shocking from me sat in Southern England watching it on TV, let alone actually maybe seeing the direct results of it out your window, So fair play to you, Alex Rudd. I'm sure that's scarred on any New Yorker's memory that day. Anything you want to add on 9/11, Hen, before we move on?
Not so much. End of the day, I think we've talked about it. It's happened, and we need to talk about something else.
Fair play to you, mate. Right, okay, so just before we get onto Henry's conspiracy half-hour shower of power, or whatever we're calling it, I want to talk about, because it is a bit of a slow news day, some of the major transfer speculation crap that's going on with United in January. I know, Henry, it's not going to be a popular one for you, but today I'm reading on Sky Sports. I mean, it's probably all...
Let's get back onto 9/11, yeah?
Crikey. It's probably all bollocks, but, Tony Kroos potential swap deal for Paul Pogba in January from Real Madrid and Manchester United. They're obviously interested in bringing Pogba back. If that was to happen and they did get him there, maybe somebody like Tony Kroos would be looking to move on.
Tony Kroos at Manchester United.
What's funny about that?
It's funny. It's funny. I mean, I know it's not coming from you. I know that this. I've read. This
that's the thing. It's all just bollocks,
isn't it? It's just absolute pig shite.
Well, you say that, but the reason I'm talking about it is because Paul Pogba's main target, one of the main clubs that are targeting Paul Pogba is Real Madrid. You've got that Zidane connection there. They've been, talking about him as being interested in the past. So, Paul Pogba going to Real Madrid, if he's going to go anywhere, it'll probably be Real Madrid or Juventus. So that's realistic.
So why are you going to end up getting Tony Kroos?
Because Tony Kroos might be used as a...
Why would Tony Kroos be happy to come to Manchester United?
Well, there you go. That's the thing. But that's where it could fall down. What's more realistic is United sign James Maddison and we just sell Pogba to Real Madrid. That is more realistic. That's why I wanted to talk about it.
It is much more realistic.
But comments here from people. Viking Red says take Kroos and Modric. Well, if we can make that happen, of course, but it's not realistically going to happen, but definitely great players. I mean, Kroos is a fantastic quality player, somebody I think could really create for United in the centre of midfield. But on paper, Pogba should be that man as well, so it doesn't guarantee you success, even if he is a quality player over at Madrid. Tony Kroos comments... Sorry, the Music Fiend comments, Tony Kroos isn't coming to United. I wish he were, though. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a quality player. He would offer a lot to United. And he, if we talk about Paul Pogba, he's a great player, but he's just not doing it for United consistently. Say what you want about him. He's got all the skills in the world. He's the best player in the world. World Cup winner, fantastic. All the attributes you need to be a quality box-to-box midfielder. Bloody prove it then, Pogba. Bloody do it then. Oh.
Pogba's a shiny peg, mate. He's a shiny peg, just like Daniel James is, but on a different scale.
Excuse me?
Okay?
Excuse me? Don't put Daniel James in the same sentence.
I was talking about the tent pegs, yeah?
Yes, I know.
I was talking about tent pegs. And this is what I'm trying to say. Basically, Daniel James is a fucking shiny tent peg, and he's still shining. And Pogba is another tent peg, but, well, I don't know. But sometimes he shines, sometimes he doesn't. But the thing is, if he was a tent peg as part of another set of tent pegs that are holding down the best tent in the world, happy days, then Pogba shines. Trouble is, you know, United, you've basically got a nice tent peg, but you don't have a nice tent. You don't at all, mate. You know, there's no point having a player like Pogba when you just don't actually have a proper fucking team.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but I kind of disagree, mate, because I think the
like
best
that,
players
mate.
in the world would be able to come into most teams and do the business well. And if they're not playing with the best players in the world, then they look like the best player in the team at least. And he doesn't. He doesn't look like the best player in the team for United. And yeah, it's all well and good to say we need these other players around him. But what I'm really looking for right now is one big fuck-off anchor of a tent peg. Someone who's going to come in there and who's going to hold the fort down on his bloody own, mate. That's what I would hope from a player who's supposed to be of Paul Pogba's calibre.
Van der Sar is director of football. That's what you need.
That's what we need. We need a big shiny Dutch tent peg to come in there and hold the fort down. Absolutely. Now, fair play, mate. I mean, I was wondering how long it would take for you to get onto your tent peg analogy. That's 4 weeks running now.
I do like it.
You fucking love it, don't it? Griffo Chaz, how you doing,
we need
mate?
to start selling pig and hen tent. Fucking.
I've noticed you've moved, mate. You've moved around.
I have moved. I got back to the normal base, mate. I prefer. I was getting bitten where I was.
Oh, fair play, mate.
You know,
it was great for lighting and it was great for but actually audio-wise, it sounds better where you are now, mate. Or either that or it's just stopped pissing down. I don't know. Yes, Daniel James. Though you mentioned Daniel James. Did you see Daniel James's goal he scored the other day for Wales as well? Did you see that goal?
No, I didn't.
Mate,
no.
It was almost like
a
carbon copy of the first quality goal he scored for United, where he's just cut inside and he's just curled it round to the top right-hand corner. It was exactly the same as that. I mean, this lad, he's looking seriously special K right now, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, I was literally just yawning on camera, mate, because I couldn't give a fuck.
No worries. Fair enough. I mean, I personally give a fuck. I think he's the future of United. He's got the qualities.
I know you do. We've spoken about him, and he's a good young player. And yeah, fair play for where it looked like to the fucking police.
Where have you gone, mate? You're cutting out, mate. You're cutting out, mate. Where have you gone? Get back in the hotspot, mate. You've had a mare.
Was it really that bad?
It was cutting out significantly. You'll see on the watch back, mate. I don't make these things up. It's cutting out significantly. We're having mares.
Let's move on, mate. I think if we took on comments that we need to comment back on.
Okay, let's get into the comment section. I'm hoping you're going to stick on here, though. Otherwise, I'm going to cut off too. It's looking like...
You need to apologise.
How's your battery, mate?
We've been unable to deliver call-ins because that is the next evolution, the next step of the Pig in the Head show. And you need to explain why, Pig.
I will do that. But can you do us all a favour and go back to wherever you were, where it was working?
Oh, fuck you. So I get bitten by fucking mosquitoes. Okay.
It seems okay. I can hear you, but it's just a little bit shaky anyway. But yeah, what did you want me to say, Henry? Again, I've forgotten. You want me to talk about what?
I wanted you to apologise for the reason why we are not implementing call-ins to the show, which we promised. We promised the viewers.
Well, listen, it's literally down to me just being a little bit busy. What I wanted to do is on Monday is get Rincon, get Rudd, get some, maybe Griffo Chaz, some of the usual guys who are up for maybe calling in and just trying it, because it's all well and good open it up to the public. But what I want to do is try it to make sure that I can actually get people in without having echoes and all that sort of thing. So we will have a trial run of this. And it sort of, so sorry that there's no call-ins today, lads and lasses, but that will be happening on the next Pig in the Hen show. And what I would like to say as well, Henry, is we've been debating moving the Pig in the Hen show from a Wednesday to a Monday, because obviously Monday this is much more it's much more relevant fallout from the weekend's football compared to a Wednesday show. So I think maybe we should look to do that on a Monday afternoon, same sort of time if we can. What do you think? So
Yeah,
should we
maybe.
make the announcement? Should we make the announcement now that the next Pig of the Hen show will be a Monday? Can you make the Monday? Is what I'm asking.
Well, maybe, but I've got a busy day on the Tuesday, so I don't know.
Okay, well we'll shelve that
I
idea for now. Maybe Wednesdays are the best. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Wednesdays will be the best. But yeah, we're definitely going to get people calling into the show. We really want to interact with you guys.
Maybe.
So.
I mean, but people let us know. People let us know. Let us know, when would you prefer the Pig and the Hen show to be? I know you're going to say 24/7, but that's not happening. Okay? So if you've got a preferred afternoon slot, please let us know, and we'll try to adhere to that. I think that's the best way to go. Listen to the people. I want to move on to Brexit at some point when we can, because I want to talk about people's vote and what people care about. This pisses me off.
That can be in the conspiracy shower hour of power shite, mate, that one.
It's not
it is basically. It's a fucking conspiracy, mate.
17.4 million people voted to leave the European Union. How that is not a conspiracy. Fair play.
Just want to read a couple of comments out before we get onto this conspiracy shower power crap. Is the irony is comments. The next step of the Pig and the Hen show is Henry finally getting a proper setup and not broadcasting from a shed. Well, yeah, I mean that would be nice, but we're gonna have to take baby steps on it. You're gonna have to get your super chats in, lads and lasses, in order for that to happen. Because.
Do you want me to buy a fucking shed or rent a shed out here? This is going to cost money.
That's not what he said.
The only reason that I do not broadcast from home is because I've got family, I've got young children. The time difference is significant from what the Pig's broadcasting. Pig sat there, it's 3, 4 in the afternoon. He's just maxing and relaxing, ain't too taxing. Okay? The Hen out in China got work next day. I've got to wake up early. Okay. Is it midnight yet? It's probably pushing that. You know what I mean? And I'm out here getting bitten by mosquitoes, putting out. I speak for you fans out there because I love you. And yeah, I'd love to have a fucking studio, wouldn't I? But you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Fair play, mate. Well, we respect the effort anyway, mate. That's it. Sometimes you just got to do the best that you can with what you've got by any means necessary. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're doing at the moment. We are going to be improving the setup of the show as time goes on, and we will be taking call-ins. That's what I was saying. That's what we want to do with the show. Absolutely. Yes, and we've got a very, very good comment here from who is it here? Mark Sin. How you doing, Mark? Comments. You guys need a show producer. Absolutely. I mean, if we could somehow freaking hell, you're necking that one, aren't you, Hen?
Just finishing off, getting the last drops in, mate. Either Edwin van der Sar or Ed Woodward. One of them. One of the Eds, mate.
Absolutely. But we could definitely do with a show producer. Griffo Chaz comments, keep it Wednesday. Fair play. Well, we'll see what happens, Wednesdays is good. People seem to like the Wednesdays because Gungshi comments here, Wednesday breaks up the monotony of the midweek. Fair play. I mean, nobody else is doing it.
It does for me, though. It does for me as well. This is the thing. It's not just about you fans. It's about me. You know what I mean? I am fresh for a Wednesday because it's kind of like I've gotten over the sort of weekend party hangover, and I'm still sort of semi-excited for the next weekend party. So midweek's ideal.
Fair play, mate. Yeah,
it's like you get the balanced Henry Hotspur, don't you?
Comment here for you, Henry, from Gungshi. It's a super chat. He comments, this is for your shed or tent, Hen. So there you go, small building blocks. Thank you very much, Gungshi. There.
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Well, at the end of the day,
I'm still waiting for your address, Henry. I said, give me your freaking address.
People send stuff out through fucking, Amazon.
Can you send me your address?
Send me things.
Send me your address, mate. I've been asking you. You haven't given it me.
That, yeah,
I need to send you some shit, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Send me some things to improve stuff. Yeah, do that.
Absolutely, yeah. Although where you are right now, it really does seem to work particularly well, mate. So fair play to you.
Get bitten though.
Oh no. Shall we get on to the moment of the Hen? What we've all been waiting for, what the Henry looks forward to every single week, which is talking about conspiracy guff.
I kind of wanted to talk about I mean, you got the conspiracy stuff. I'll talk about Brexit. I did want to just have a quick chat about it because it is a defining moment in the UK's politics. We are both from England, which is part of the UK, and Brexit is a defining thing. It's not just for Europe, but for the world. The whole eyes of the world are looking at what's going on with our country right now. I do think so.
I 100% agree, mate.
Do you disagree with that?
No, it is. I mean, we're currently the laughing stock of the world at the moment in terms of our government and the calamity that's going on. Yeah,
We're a joke, mate.
it is pretty terrible what's going on,
mate. They'd be better off. They'd be better off Pig and the Hen in charge of the government, in a way. And even if we were in charge of the government, we would have no power. And this is the point that I want to make, right? Look, like who's our prime minister at the moment? Tell me.
Boris Johnson, mate.
Right, okay. And whatever you think about him, you might think, what's this clown doing? He's pushing through, pushing us through to get us out of the EU, blah, blah, blah. But does he actually have the power? Is it up to him? Do you know what Parliament's done?
Go on.
Do you know what they've done? Right, they've pushed through a legislation, a bill, okay, that's actually passed through the House of Lords. It's had royal assent, which means that once it's had royal assent, it's fucking happening, okay? That we are now legally obliged to extend Article 50, which means that Boris Johnson is obliged to go to the European Union and say, I want an extension to our time before we actually either leave or whatever. Again. I don't. It makes me so fucking angry, mate. And I know that you're not.
I'm not really not.
I know most people
probably
out
should
there
be,
are
but
not
it just
following it. I don't blame you.
It infuriates me.
I know you should be, and I know, and mate, I understand why most people out there are disillusioned, do not give a fuck, don't follow it whatsoever, and I didn't. I never did. I've never been into politics. Do I sound like someone that is some kind of political, interested person? No, I don't. But I'm into it these days, and I didn't even vote. I did not even vote to leave or remain in the EU. I didn't even vote. But I remember a few years back, and what was I doing? I had a job, and I was speaking to someone who's a little bit older than me at the time, and he said, I'm voting leave. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Why? And he said, well, our laws back, we'll be able to decide what we want to do. It'll be interesting. It might not be the right choice, but, it's a democratic choice. I'm going to vote leave. If everybody votes leave, it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. So, then the result comes in. We're supposed to leave. This is 3.5 years ago, okay? And at the time, I thought, when the result came in, I thought, well, fair play, my mate there who's voted leave, he's got what he wanted. Let's see what happens then. I was listening to him. Okay, I was on the fence at the time. Let's see what happens. It's interesting. Obviously, the result is going to be implemented because that's democracy. I've grown up in a democracy. That's what the UK is about. We have a vote. People vote. Whatever the result is, that's what we're going to do. But is it fuck? Is it fuck? Because all we have now is a parliament that do everything they possibly can to delay, to stop Brexit, which was the people's vote. That was the referendum by 17.4 million. So way over 1.5 million people voted to leave. And we're still not doing that because people in Parliament have decided that they're trying to do everything they possibly can to stop it. So it doesn't even matter that we've got a Conservative government now where Boris Johnson wants to leave the EU. He's got his hands tied. It's like sending Anthony Joshua out to a fight against fucking that little chubby Mexican again, or whatever his name is. But this time he's got his hands behind his back tied. He can't even fight. That is the situation Johnson finds himself in now.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, mate, because I haven't been following it, but I agree with your passion. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, Gungshi says nearly half the population voted to stay. But I mean, the fact is the majority voted to leave just. But what I would say is
52 to 48%. Okay. And yes, it's, it wasn't a massive majority to leave. But bottom line, if you're going to have a vote, you have to side with the majority. Otherwise, what the hell is the point of having a vote in the first place?
I mean, I personally think for those sorts of decisions, when you're talking about something that has such an impact on people's lives and how the country goes forward, it shouldn't be 52% to 48%. It should be 2/3. Fair enough, if 67% of the population want to leave, then we should leave. But 51 and 49, I mean, that's a bit messed up, isn't it? Especially when we had one vote. Hang on a second. Especially when we had one vote and we were sold. I mean, I didn't vote either, just so you know, but the public was sold. They were sold more money for the NHS, hundreds of billions for the NHS. They were sold, these immigration new practices being put in place, point system, all this stuff that we were told. But basically afterwards they said, actually, hang on, because we've got these, because we're going to need some sort of trade deals with all the other countries in Europe, we're pretty much going to have to keep the Freedom of Movement Act anyway. And also we're pretty much, we don't actually know the amount that we're going to be able to spend on the NHS. So that's what I'm saying. It was all bullshit. What they did is they spat out propaganda in order to, and people like Boris Johnson, people like Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, they're very, very at fault for this. And it is propaganda, Henry, when they're talking about 400 billion or whatever it is for the NHS. And then there's no grounds. But there's no grounds of basis for it whatsoever. It's just speculation. So they're putting it on the side of buses. Maybe you didn't see this, like an extra, however, 100 million, billion or whatever it was for the NHS.
True. That was all true.
Yes, it wasn't all true though. It was all
speculative.
Yeah, but how are you working that out? How can they say that though? We don't even know what deal we've got to know how much. Yeah, but we don't even know what deal we've got with people to know how much money is going to be spent on those sorts of things. What I'm saying is
they worked out a fucking average of what would be left over from basically 39 million.
What I mean. It's all speculation though. It's all speculation. They sold Brexit to people on the basis of getting rid of the Freedom of Movement Act, which it seemed a lot of people wanted.
Pig, you
and
have
the
been brainwashed.
No, I haven't been brainwashed. Mate.
You have.
Listen, I'm not brainwashed by Remainers whatsoever. You don't know my political stance on it. I haven't said, and I didn't vote. But actually, it may surprise you that at the time, maybe because of certain situations, I didn't vote, but I was maybe leaning towards leaving, right? But what I'm saying is they shouldn't be allowed to have that sort of a referendum or that sort of a big vote and then spit out all of this propaganda which has no real basis.
But how is it propaganda when
this is
true?
What people are based. It's not true though, mate.
What's not true? What's not true?
So they
Tell
put on
me
the side, right?
True.
They put on the side of a bus an extra 14 billion or whatever it is for every year for the NHS, right?
Sure.
Which is
how's that
bollocks,
not true?
Because it's absolutely rubbish. It's speculation.
It could be true.
It could be true. Yeah, it could be true. You've just proved my point, Henry.
To the EU.
It's speculation.
You know how much money we give to the EU? We're still giving money to the EU. Yes. The longer that we extend Brexit, the longer that we don't leave the EU, we owe them more money. We owe them 39 billion. That's what they think. But we could easily say, actually, fuck you. We don't want a deal. We're going to keep the 39 billion. And then all that shit that you read on the side of those buses could potentially come true. It'll be up,
That's what I mean.
It'll be up to us how we spend that money.
Yeah, but
that's how we spend that money. But it could possibly be pumped back into the NHS. Why not?
It could be, and it should be, and it will be. That based on what they've said, but the actual figures is what I'm stating. What they were stating is speculation. So they've sold it to a lot of people based on this, when there's no actually real foundation for them to even come up with those figures, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Why is there no foundation to it?
Well, hang on about the Freedom of Movement Act, right?
I'm not a Brexiteer. I'm not a leaver because of this. But what I'm saying is everything you're saying is, do you know what I mean? Debatable, because you're trying to say that they tried to sell lies
they
to
did,
us, but it's not lies. It's not lies because it could be implemented. It could be implemented if we leave, but we have not left.
What I would like to know,
wait for us to leave and see if we could do that stuff.
At this stage, are you looking for a no-deal Brexit, are you? Do you think that's the thing
that's
going to benefit?
All day long. All day long.
But you say that, but you've got to consider...
You know what... Yeah, but the thing is, I follow politics, and you already admitted to me that
Well,
you're not even into it.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I don't even like talking about it, evidently. But you wanted to talk about it, so I'll give you my fucking opinion. So sit down, pipe down, and shut up a second, Henry. All right, because I've got something to say here. Now, okay, no deal Brexit. On the face of it, it sounds good. We've got a date, October 31st, wherever it was. Let's stick to that, right? But what actually happens to people who've got their medication coming in from Europe? What actually happens to all the trade that's currently going on between England or the UK and these European countries? Talk about people's livelihoods depending on imports, exports, all these sorts of things.
You just listen to Project
What happens
Fear.
to the millions of people though?
You're worrying
that
about
actually
Project
affects?
Fear.
What? Yeah, but
You've just listened to
but maybe what
mainstream
I'm saying is a delay though.
slating
If they
the
could get a
ideal-
deal in place, then maybe that's a better way to go than just
need
a hard
fucking
Brexit,
deal
hard
to
exit.
do anything. You do not need a deal. Do you know what WTO actually is? World Trade Organization rules. Do you know what that's about?
Go on.
That is in place so that anyone that doesn't have a trade deal can trade. So anybody that doesn't actually have a trade arrangement with whoever they're trading with operates under WTO. Okay, that might not always be ideal. Yes, there are better trade arrangements you can have, like a free trade deal, which we should be trying to pursue with the EU. Okay, do we have a trade arrangement with the country that I'm currently living in, China? Do you know? Do you know? No, you don't even know.
I'd imagine we do have a trade deal.
No, we don't.
So much shit comes into the country, though, mate.
Don't. We don't have a fucking trade deal with China at all. Do you know why? Because we've been part of the EU. So we have to listen to what the EU specify in terms of trade deals with anyone that's outside of the EU. This is why we have not been able to have any fucking trade deal with anyone in the whole fucking world. Okay? Now we could actually have a trade deal with someone. But what I'm trying to say, you're talking about no deal, and a lot of people are talking about no deal as the be-all and end-all, and it's going to be the travesty.
I mean, I couldn't really give a fuck, mate, to be honest. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't affect me.
What I'm trying to tell you is China is one of our biggest traders. America is one of our biggest traders. We don't actually have trade deals with either of those countries right now because we've been operating under EU rules. Some of the trade that we deal with when it comes to the EU, we fucking import a lot more from the EU than we export to them. Of course we do. Look at the champagne. Look at the fucking Belgian and Swiss chocolate.
Medications, mate. Forget the Swiss chocolates and all that shit. What about medications, buddy?
Medications.
What I mean.
We'll just switch.
People will die. People will fucking die because of Brexit, mate.
People won't fucking die. We'll go straight over to WTO rules.
But they will.
If you go down to Southampton, if you go over to any of the major ports and you look at the massive ships that are coming in and unloading their fucking containers. My dad used to work on these ships. These containers come in to the ports, they unload them, they get onto lorries, and then they go onto go across the country and they're distributed. And that is all down to WTO rules. We don't have a trade agreement with China, and yet we take in so much from countries like China, so much from countries like America. If the EU, if we have to leave on a no-deal Brexit, yes, there might be a couple of bumps in the road. I'm not saying everything is going to be smooth as fuck. But what I am saying is that the people that are saying we need to stay in the EU because our country's fucked if we don't, it is scaremongering. I'm telling you right now. I
personally don't think we should.
Right now.
I don't think we should stay in the EU, and I do think we're part of the Commonwealth. What you'll see is the country of Britain or the the UK. We will be, of course, getting new trade deals with other countries. With I think America have already said that they will help us out for a while after Brexit and all that sort of stuff. So you'll see other doors opening when these doors close with trade with Europe. Absolutely, you will. So I'm not too worried about the long-term effects of Brexit. I mean, the short-term, the immediate action after the actual hard Brexit, that is when people will die because they just don't have the medication stockpiled or that sort of thing.
People won't
now you're
die.
talking about
we will hold
some
on
people
to
will die.
Billion.
Some people will die, mate.
No, they won't.
Of course they will. If they're getting medication from an Albanian pharmaceutical company, say. Do you know what I mean?
Listen to me.
Fucking die, mate.
Listen to me. The £39 billion that we supposedly owe the EU, and if the Remainers had their way, and well, even Boris Johnson wants to sign up to some bullshit deal, actually. So I want a clean break, hard Brexit, okay? But if we sign up to some deal, we lose the money, and what you said actually happens because suddenly We're on WTO terms, etc., etc. What we need to do is we need to keep the 39 billion. We need to have plans in place so that any industry, any vulnerable people that are going to be hit by this, we've got the money there. We make sure that those provisions are there, available. Bumps in the road, we need to be ready for it. But our fucking godforsaken Parliament has fucked it for us all, because all they want to do is just stop and hesitate what the government are trying to implement. It started off with Theresa May, who never really wanted to leave. Now you've got Boris Johnson, who does want to leave, but Parliament do not want him to do that. And we're at a standstill. We need a general election.
Yeah, fair play to your head. I mean, I'm just going to say with what Gungshi's commented here, and I think it's actually valid. He says maybe we should try and avoid politics on the Pig and the Hen show. You've obviously got your strong feelings on. I don't have many feelings on Henry. It's not something that I really get involved with, mate. I'm always looking at Sky Sports, not BBC fucking news for politics. Personally, maybe I should be. Maybe that's why my life's in fucking ruin. But anyway,
I wouldn't say that. I don't think it makes any difference, to be honest. But
hang on a second. I just want to highlight something here. I just want to talk to my moderators here for a second, actually. Alex Rudd and Rincon, somebody has got rid of this lad who's been spouting about Trump 2020. Just because you don't have the same political allegiance as this guy, you should actually let him voice his opinion. That's what I'm saying. You know, I can't moderate this.
What's wrong with Trump 2020?
I don't know, but somebody said they've also said
2020.
Hen is dumb. So that's a valid opinion as well. So the moderators, they do a fantastic job. But unless it's racial, unless it's homophobic, unless it's, really, really offensive, then just let people out there say, because Trump, if they want Trump for 2020, they're entitled to that opinion.
Well,
we're all about freedom
2020.
of speech. Do you know what I mean? So we're all about freedom
Trump
of speech.
2020. Look, the Hen's political views are all coming out tonight, aren't they?
Oh, can we just
Trump
move on to the
2020.
conspiracy shit?
All day long. Donald Trump is the best president that we've seen in the United States of America since I've been alive. All day long. All day long.
Yeah, so it's the master who has been put on silence by Rudd or Rincon here. Subvert the public vote. This is what the master says on his parting comment. Subvert the public vote is called democracy. This is what you term cognitive dissonance. Mods are Muppets. Out of here and unsubscribe. Oh, well, thanks very much, Rudd and Rincon.
No, but the reason I'll give my
I'm just
reasons
joking
to why
around.
I like Trump. Okay, I'm not saying I think Trump always says the best things. He's definitely said things that are completely out of order and wrong. But who doesn't? You pretty much every Pig of the Hen show, I'll probably say something I regret. Okay, people say things they regret. But bottom line, the American economy right now is booming. It's doing better than it has done for a hell of a long time. Before Trump, who did you have? You had Obama. You had George Bush, you had Clinton. Are you telling me any of those presidents did a better job? You're taking the country to war. It's America has not been in a good place for a hell of a long time. And for me, Trump's doing a brilliant job. And I'm all up for Trump 2020. I am.
Sorry, mate, my intelligence chip has melted. No, fair play though. If that's your opinion, mate. I mean, I just don't want to get into politics on this show, mate. I personally, I have no interest in it. I mean, if you want my opinion, was Obama better than Trump? I mean, no, from an actual, what he did point of view, but yes, from a ambassador point of view, actually, he seems like a intelligent, responsible, thought out, well-mannered man. Yes, in that sense. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes personally.
Obama?
Go on.
Do you know what pissed me off about Obama? Is if Obama was to come and visit us back in the UK, he wouldn't come to the UK. Do you know where he'd fly? Do you know where he'd go straight to? Which he did. He'd go straight to Brussels, okay? Because he was an advocate for the EU. He actually said, and this is true research, Obama came out and said, if the EU, then we would be on the bottom of the list in terms of trading partners with America. So he actually threatened us. This was an actual threat to us as the United Kingdom just before we had the referendum. And, if you're talking about political kind of, fuckings around before people are actually having votes, that was completely out of order. You look at President Trump, despite some of the hatred he had before having his UK visit this year, he comes straight to us. His mother's Scottish. He met the Queen. He did things properly. What can I say? I don't know, mate. I don't know. But that's how I am. I'm a fucking old school.
Fair one. Well, yeah, I mean, from running the country like a business point of view, it makes sense to have a businessman in charge there. But if you're talking about that from an outsider looking in, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that Trump has said about women, or just some Mexicans and certain things that he said in the past, he's a tactless, he's an absolute buffoon. He's a buffoon of a man, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, but if you or I not said
listen,
similar things, or challenge anyone that listens
in the public eye.
So
yeah, but he's in the public eye though, mate. When you come out with stuff. Yeah,
so
but I don't come out with shit like that, mate. Maybe you do after your couple of bottles of wine.
Yeah, but not on camera. He doesn't say that on camera. Yes, he does. He doesn't say that when he's doing like a press conference.
What the whole all Mexicans are rapists, mate, was said in, I believe in. Well, I can't quite remember now, but I think it was part of a speech or something, wasn't it? So you're saying this, grab her by the pussy. Yeah, that was a private conversation that wasn't meant to be captured. That I can forgive him with. That's funny.
Yes.
That's something that me and you would say to each other about, we're just talking about. It's a joke. It's not real, okay? That's a joke. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of the stuff that he says in regards to, I don't know. I mean, I remember he was talking about a woman. I can't remember who it was. And he was just like, oh, she's a fat, disgusting pig. And stuff like that. It's like, is he really saying this shit right now? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got no tact. You either love him for it or you hate him for it. Fair enough. To me, on the face of it, he's an absolute buffoon. He may well be doing a good job leading the nation of America. Fair play to him. But in terms of just an ambassador, I mean, crikey, Barack Obama all day long, lad.
Well, sure, I can't argue, but what matters more, what you say or what you do. And at the end of the day, what he's doing is head and shoulders above anything that any American president has done for years. And I mean, please disagree with me, Alex Rudd, Alex Rincon, any other American listeners.
Well, here's one for you. Barack Obama.
Probably know better than I do, but I do follow this stuff, and that is my opinion.
Fair one. Just read this comment out from Rincon. He says, Hen is just straight up wrong. Trump is one of the worst presidents we've ever had. There's countless video evidence of him saying fucked up shit on TV. Alex Rudd, on the other hand, agrees with you, Hen. So there you go. That's it. That's the split. Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. That is Donald Trump.
So we got a split between Rudd and Rincon. Finally, I can butter my bread on two sides with them guys.
Viking Red comments, he wants to ban Muslims, but they serve in the American army and have died patriots. So, I mean, I don't know enough about that to even comment, but fair enough. I mean, listen, Trump, let's just fucking stop talking about politics now anyway. Because politics, to me, what does poly mean in Latin? It means many. What are ticks? Parasites. That's what politics is to me, mate. Many parasites. Fuck the lot of them. That's what I say. Anyway.
Right, last thing I want to say. Do you know
Can
what?
we get on to the last 20 minutes conspiracy, mate? Ugh.
Last thing I want to say on the subject is I did not give a fuck about politics until recently. And do you know why? It's because we, as a British people, as people of the UK, had a vote and is not being implemented. And it is actually pissed all over my childhood ideology of what democracy is supposed to be. And that is what I always believed, the foundations of what the country that I feel to be part of is built up on. And that's what fucks me off to my core. I'll leave you with that.
Fair play, mate. Right, we're actually on an hour and 41 minutes of this show, so we're only going to keep going for another 15 minutes or so now, guys. So we're just going to round it off with a bit of, conspiracy chat here. So, Henry, I'm just going to play the theme music, mate, so you just sit loose. I'll let you know when we're done, okay?
You got a theme show? I don't even know if I got a conspiracy ready.
Well, we don't have a conspiracy ready, but that's just...
Have you got a theme, have you?
Well, sort of ready. It's going to play now, okay?
It's just the fucking X-Files song.
That's it. What else is needed, mate?
It's true. Can't top it, can you?
It says everything we want it to say, mate. Do you know what I mean? That'll do. Anyway, I haven't actually had time to fade it out or anything or make a proper version, so I'll just put the song there. But that'll do. So there we go. It's time for
fucking
Henry
brilliant. I love
Hotspur's
it. I absolutely love it.
conspiracy half-hour shower of doom. Except that it's only 15 minutes long at the moment, so because we were talking all that crap about politics. Come on then, Henry. Well, let's have it. What's your conspiracy for the week?
This is bad, mate. Build up. I don't actually have anything ready.
Mate, what was that thing I sent you the other day? What was that thing I sent you
such.
the other day? Do you remember? Can you remember? My phone's off. So.
Well, it was the. You're saying that they've discovered
that was bollocks, wasn't
dinosaur remains
Yes.
on Mars.
That was bollocks, wasn't it? Come on. Well, there's like a
bullshit,
satellite.
It's that
It's got to be. There's like a
is it?
satellite picture of what looks like a dinosaur head skull, but it's just a rock at an angle with certain lighting on it, surely. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
That's not really
It's
good.
bullshit.
What about, okay, hang on, because
Okay,
it's
right,
9/11,
let's
about 9/11,
let's get
mate?
on
The
to the-
conspiracy of, Tower 7 and, just the general people thinking it's an inside job and the stuff like that. It's pretty nutty, really. Even that's a conspiracy.
Well, Tower 7 has been talked about. It's been talked about for years in terms of the way that it looks like it's
Controlled
just
explosion,
a planned demolition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fucked up, and well, who knows? But it's years ago. No one's ever really going to know for sure. Unfortunately, it is what it is. What I did just want to bring up Epstein again, because I've been reading that apparently it's been proven that he didn't die in his cell. So if he did supposedly kill himself, he didn't kill himself in his cell. Why wasn't he in his cell when he killed himself or when he died? This is new stuff coming out. And it's just, I think everybody's forgotten about the Epstein. They shouldn't. The Clintons are.
You're cutting out again, mate. You're cutting out significantly again, mate. Nobody can hear a single bloody word you're saying, mate. So.
Basically, I hope I live to see the day where the Clintons are brought down. Hillary Clinton might be running
if you
again.
want to talk about some serious crooks, mate,
The
people that
presidency.
actually murder people and who, hide information, and then there's not many people worse in terms of American politics, I don't think. And look, if you look,
So even you're admitting that there is a list of people associated with the Clintons that have ended up
absolutely,
dead.
and
Even
if you
you
look
know
at
that.
the ways that they've died, it does seem like a couple of them have been suicided as well. I mean, it's not something I've done any research on, but I've heard like the likes of Joe Rogan and stuff talk about this stuff in the past at length. And it does seem to me like if you put all the all the ingredients together, it seems like they're offing people, mate. It really does. Anybody who's got any information or shit on them threatens any sort of exposure of the Clintons and anything that they've done, they do seem to be found dead shortly after, mate, before that information has been able to get out. So look, that's from if you're talking about a conspiracy theory, is Hillary Clinton, are Bill Clinton, are they like Hitler-esque type they're assassinating people, then if you want my honest answer, I'd probably have to say yes. There's a lot of messed up stuff that goes on behind closed doors in particularly American politics, but all different governments around the world that we don't know about. I mean, I would like to talk to you about, just touch on it briefly. Maybe you didn't know about this, because I'm not sure if you were here at the time, but there was a nerve agent attack on a Russian agent in Salisbury, which is only about it's only about an hour's drive away from here, and it's clearly from Moscow, clearly a Russian exercise for them to assassinate. It was actually some Russian agent who had information on them, or an ex-spy who was helping Britain or helping the EU or whoever from Russia, basically. They offed him in Salisbury with a nerve agent, of all things. A policeman got really sick as well, and also his daughter. Actually, they didn't die, did they? Can't remember. Did they die, or did they make a full recovery? But either way, that sort of stuff goes on.
I think so.
That sort of stuff goes on. Assassinations.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know the ins and outs of that one. I should know more because it was so cool. What I want to know is the fact that you've got Clinton there, guilty as fuck, because everybody that knows her things died around him. You've got people, Prince Andrew, where it's actually fucking pictured with one of the girls, the picture of Prince Andrew with one of the girls that is lying in terms of the Epstein shit. Prince Andrew hasn't even made his own statement. He's had a representative come out and say, it's not actually Prince Andrew. The photo's been doctored. His fingers are too fucking slim. And Prince Andrew's hands or something what's represented in the picture.
Sorry, mate, I can't hear anything you're saying, buddy. I think we might have to wrap this one up because it's all coming through. Like for the last few minutes, it's just been really cracking, and I can't have a conversation with you at the moment, Ed. I mean, hopefully, whoever's. Oh, I can hear you now
really
again. What's going on? Anyway.
Is it better? I was just trying to say that apparently Prince Andrew was pictured. One of the girls that has been testifying, in terms of the Epstein case. And Prince Andrew didn't even say himself, but he had a representative that the photo was false. Apparently, his fingers were either too slim or too fat. It's represented in the picture. It's absolute fucking bullshit. Prince Philip is fucking guilty as, and no one's going to go after him because he's other family. In the same way that Clinton is too fucking up there. And this is the fucked up thing about the world we live in, guys. I've been talking about the mark of the beast. I've been talking about globalists, elitists. People give it other names: the Illuminati, the Freemasons, etc., etc. That's
New World
what
Order.
It's all about. And this is the stuff that I want to be talking to people. New World Order. This is the stuff I want to be talking to people about. If we can get the phone-ins coming in for the conspiracy hour once we listen to the fucking X-Files theme tune, because I want to hear from you guys. I think we have a commenter out there. I think he's a proper Christian guy. Fair play to him. I think his name's Alex Carney or something, and he's made a few comments here and there. And I think he's an avid Christian. But fair play to you. You keep commenting. You keep listening, because. We need to hear these views. We need to talk about these things. That's what I'm trying to say.
Respect, mate. Respect. Let's just go into the comment section here and read a few out at the end here. Anybody that wants to interact with Henry on this conspiracy shite. The Music Fiend comments, only junkies like me paid attention to Epstein until he actually died. Now everyone's talking about Epstein. Fair play, yeah.
So that guy knew what was going on, and then now the world knows what's going on. But whoever just commented already knew what the fuck was going on. Well, fair play. He was already listening to that
guy. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of these things. Obviously, it's only really relevant until it's relevant. And if that guy had the chance to leak whatever he was leaking properly, or to the extent that he was planning on, then obviously we'd know a lot more about that. But it's been highlighted because he has been killed or whatever. I mean, I don't really. Do you know what? I'm talking about this. I don't even really know anything about this guy or what he was exposing or anything.
This is the thing, guys. As soon as we stop talking about bloody Manchester United, Pig is out.
Well, I certainly haven't been reading about this Epstein guy. I mean, for all I could be talking about, I could be talking about a musician for all I fucking know. This is all about Henry Hotspur's half an hour. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I think it's a good time that we wrap it up. You are disconnected a little bit again there, Henry. We will get more into conspiracy stuff next week. You disappointed me this week a bit, Hen. Come on, have a bit more prepared for the conspiracy half-hour shower power. Do you know what I mean?
So you didn't even let me know the X-Files theme tune.
You didn't need to know that, mate. That wasn't important, okay? What was important is the content of the conspiracy half-hour shower power, mate.
It was so fucking important. It was so fucking important because as soon as anybody hears, of course it's everybody has fucking expectation, haven't they?
Anyway, Hen, we need to work on a new location for you for this podcast because nobody can understand what you said for the last 5 minutes properly. Anyway, you'll see when you watch it back. But anyway, we'll go into it a bit more next week. Thank you to everybody who's given in. There's a couple of people saying, Gungshi says, let's just answer this one before we go. Hopefully you can hear Henry okay. But Gungshi's got a comment for you, Hen. He says, Hen, I want to know your views on chemtrails.
Chemtrails. Okay, so chemicals that are sprayed out from jets, from planes. I believe that's what he's on about. And there is a conspiracy theory that believes that this is actually affecting weather. So you got a fucking hurricane in the US at the
I
moment.
thought it was the conspiracy was they're poisoning people with it. Because they already do weather seeding. They already do weather seeding, so that's not a conspiracy. Do you know what I mean? I thought the view was the shit that they're putting out in chemtrails makes you sick and die. That's the conspiracy I heard. Sounds like Mr. Conspiracy Henry Hotspur don't actually know about this whole chemtrail shit, and there he is belittling me about not knowing about this Epstein thing.
There's a couple. No, fuck you. Fuck.
Mugged off.
Fuck
there.
you, pig. Okay. There's two things about this. And you're right. You're quite right. So you've got the idea that the chemtrails are getting into the atmosphere and they're affecting us all. Okay. And also you've got the idea that they're actually affecting the weather. So, I mean, I don't,
but there is weather
it's not my kind of
seeding
conspiracy,
actually.
actually.
Yeah,
I'm not clever enough for that sort of thing.
They do that in order to maybe try and get a rain cloud and things like that. So that's not really a conspiracy. The conspiracy is that they're trying to control the population by putting this poison into the atmosphere, which people breathe. Sort of like what you were saying about fluorine and fluoride and shit like that. Same sort of thing. They're trying to, control the population. Me personally, this is my opinion. I know you asked Henry, and I'd love to get Henry's opinion on it. I personally don't think that that's true. I think when you see those chemtrails being left by planes, sure they might be weather seeding, but I just think that's the fuel that is being propelled from the back, expelled from the back.
But why are they weather seeding? So what you're saying is that's public info that they're actually trying to change the weather with it. I thought that was just a conspiracy. What you're saying is that actually they
do that in a lot of countries around the world. Like,
why would they do that?
Say deserts, they might.
Why? Why fuck around with the
because you might want to
order of things? Who gives them the right?
You've got a good point there. Yeah.
Who gives them the right? So what the fuck is this about? I'm just a normal human being, but what you're saying is there's powers beyond our comprehension.
Always the way,
Hen. Putting out this shit from planes with the intention to alter the weather. So what you're saying in a kind of, casual way is it actually happens. And I didn't even fucking know that. You're blowing my mind. And also,
if you think about it, there's so many decisions that happen where they actually are putting the general population of the world's lives in jeopardy without even really knowing the true consequences of it. Look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Who knows, that could have caused a chaos theory situation? Who really bloody knows? Like, they just did it. They didn't consult everyone. Nobody had a vote. They didn't make sure everyone was going to be okay. They just did it. Same with this shot. Same with, flying jets around the world. Same with, shipping. Same with everything. We have all these means of transport and travel and things like that. But really, we only know in a short term what's happening. And we do know the ozone layer's fucked. We do know that global warming is happening. We do know these things. And it's a direct influence of all of this stuff that's going on, which isn't taking into consideration what people are actually doing. I don't
believe in global warming.
Fair enough. Well, save it for another one.
Save that for another show. I mean, I
would like to wrap this up. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, so
I mean, that will cause some controversy on the comments, I'm sure. But
yeah, fair play. Interesting chat anyway there. I would like to thank every single person who's tuned in and stuck around to the end of this show. I know there's been some issues. I know we've covered some topics, maybe not very popular. But I do want to thank everybody who's tuned in. I'd also like to thank the moderators for keeping control of the chat. By and large, like I say, I would like people to have their say, though, if it's not racist and homophobic. So, you know what I mean? So just steady on that.
No, but actually, it's amazing because it just goes to show, even on the Pig and the Hen show, there's censorship. So I mean, I've actually said here on the show before that this is a problem in mainstream media or anything, and even on our own beloved Pig and the Hen show, it's happening. It's happening, lads and lasses. It proves everything.
Well, there you go. Well, if it's not racist and it's not homophobic, I don't care if somebody's saying, "Look at the pig, he's an absolute fat twat, he's a prick." I don't really care as long as they're not spamming that in the chat. Then they're entitled to their opinion. Same thing if they love Trump. I don't care if they're a diehard Arsenal fan and they want to say Roy Keane's a fanny. Fair play. I don't care. It's just if they're being homophobic towards people, if they're being racist towards people, then they deserve to be booted out, in my opinion, because that's just a little bit too close to the bone. I think
I wouldn't. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. At the end of the day, if you're just being purely abusive and not being constructive in any way, there's no need to say it, is there? You're not actually bringing anything to the fore.
Viking Red comments, pig and hen, we want a greet and meet or a meet and greet. Absolutely. Do you know, one day, I'll tell you this, once we've got to 100,000 subscribers on the channel, so get sharing and get telling your friends. Once we get to 100,000, I will host some sort of a pig and the hen party meet and greet next time hen's in the country. How's that sound? Comment here from Gungshi. I think we can agree racism is bad, though. Absolutely. I know it's not a case of, just allowing people to say whatever they want to say, because society does need to have a limit. It does. Otherwise, it's just going to cause problems, friction, wars even. We need to have a limit, okay? But at the same time, people should be able to voice what they truly believe, as long as they're being respectful to other people. That's what I think. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. Thank you very much to everybody who's tuned in. If you are tuning in live still, smash a cheeky little like on this video. Do please do that, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, we haven't given enough love to our other channel, which we've set up, called the Pig and the Hen Show Clips. Search Pig and the Hen Show Clips. Please subscribe to that. It's where I'll be uploading, clips and things from the Pig and the Hen Show to where we cut down the topics into little segments. So go follow that. Please do that. Also, I must apologise to any people that listen to this in the audio format. I didn't have a chance to upload the last one afterwards onto SoundCloud and stuff, but immediately after this one, I will get this one on there. So anybody who wants to watch this back or listen to it back later via your podcast app, you can do that. You can also follow the podcast on iTunes and your podcast app or soundcloud.com. Just search Flying Pig United or search Pig and the Hen Show. So please do that. You're a bunch of legends. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. There's been some real talk on the podcast today, whether it's been about football, whether it's been about wine. I think what we've seen is Henry gradually sobering up over the 2 hours as well. Seems like it. Yeah.
Really?
Seems like
That's
it, but
interesting. Well, we need to be talking about the conspiracies more. I love the new X-Files theme tune. We need to be talking about the threat of 5G. We got lots of stuff
we'll
to cover.
definitely do that. That's it. It's not just a football show, but I would maybe think the politics stuff. Let's keep that to a minimum. If you got stuff you want to get off your chest, absolutely. But yeah, let's keep it to a minimum, mate. Anyway, thank you very much, Henry Hotspur, for joining me today. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in live. Go and follow Henry Hotspur on social media at Henry_Hotspur. You can also follow me at Mr. Flying Pig HD on all social media platforms. Please go and do that. Like, subscribe, comment. You stay classy. Enjoy your week. I'll be back at the weekend, of course, for the Leicester City Manchester United game. I haven't even started on my fire in the room yet, so I've got some work to be doing on that one, I tell you. Which is kind of, can I even do that the way United are playing at the moment, the results we're getting? Kind of mugging myself off by making rap diss songs about other teams, aren't I? Don't you think, Hen? Should I do one?
Well, put it to a vote. That's what I say.
There you go. Well, let me know if you guys want to see it.
Yes. So I think it's good.
Fair play. Right. Okay, well, thanks to everybody who's watched. You have yourselves a good one. Take it easy. You've been watching The Pig.
And you've been watching The Hen. Bok, bok.
Great stuff. And we'll see you very, very soon. Take it easy. Tune in next week, 3 p.m. Wednesday, UK time. Like I said, there's some discussion that we may swap times around and things like that, but that won't be, we'll let you know about that when that's going to happen. So as it is now, Wednesday at 3 p.m, we'll see you there. Be there or be square.
Be squared.
Be squared. What?
Yeah, get it right, yeah?
That's not how it goes, mate. It's be there or be square.
No, it's not, mate. Be there or be squared.
Are you fucking serious? You are so wrong.
Sure, mate.
You are so wrong, Henry.
I'm sure I'm right.
It's be there or be square.
Squared.
No, mate. It's not a maths problem here, okay? We're not talking about the square root of some shite. Okay? It's fucking be there or be square. That's what it is. Okay?
To be fair, square does rhyme with there, so you're probably right. But for some reason, I've submitted on the Pig and the Hen show. I always thought it was be squared.
That's fucking awful. Anyway, what a way to end the show. What a way to end the show. Anyway, thank you very much for getting involved, everybody. Take it easy. I'm just going to cue the music. So we'll see you very, very soon. Stay classy.
Buck. See you later.
Pig and the hen. Pig and the
Oh, mate, I am. Are we not?
and
We off now, yeah?
the hen show. Pig and the hen show. Pig and the
we
hen
off now?
show.
One moment.
Pig and the hen show.
Oh, we're not fucking up.